see it, okay. So it's, like to start the meeting, it's December 14th at
Oh, I can just put it in there.
6:01 PM. It's a regular meeting of, regular meeting of council. I'll read the resolution. Be it resolved that the meeting shall be called to order and that the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor
Second.
Patton moves, Councilor Kleiber seconds it. I'll move down to, there's nothing on the agenda.
Did you want all in favor?
Oh, yeah, call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
If I go like that. Oh,
Any opposed? None carried.
Mr. Mayor, for opening remarks. Is it
Good.
okay?
Yeah. Go ahead.
For opening? Yeah, I just was reminded by the mayor, this is our last meeting of the year, the last meeting before Christmas. I just want to put a couple of remarks on the table that, you know, I was driving around the RM and noticed people are busy, but some folks took the time to put up some Christmas lights or lights on their property, and it looks pretty exceptional at night, and so I just wanted to thank them for bringing making the RM pretty festive this time of year, so I just want to put those remarks on the record, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilor Patton. So council wishes to thank everyone for taking an interest in what's happening in your municipality by attending this evening. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive representation from the applicant and any persons who wish to make them concerning what is proposed. We will hear from the applicant, then from those who wish to make a representation, starting with anyone who wants to speak in favor of the proposal, followed by those who are opposed, or those who object to the proposal. At the end of our presentation, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond. If anyone intends to make a presentation for any of the hearings scheduled for this evening, please record your name and contact information at the appropriate sign-in sheet located right now with Pam, our planning person. Applicants must also sign in. If you have signed in, please do so now so that you have an opportunity to speak to council. At the end of the presentation, the members of council may ask for clarification from the speaker of the facts or issues they would like to debate on. Person speaking must address the chair. If they have any questions they think that the applicant should answer, they should raise them in their presentation to the chair. The applicant will have an opportunity to respond to questions when their presentations are finished. If the hearing is not completed tonight, whether because we run out of time or further information is provided, we will then adjourn the hearing. If we adjourn the hearing, we will tell you at the hearing the date of the public hearing. There will be no other notice given to date. Also, we ask that anyone that comes forward, that they limit their time as short as possible. If someone has already made their point, we just ask you just to acknowledge that the point has been addressed. We ask that anyone that has cell phones, that they turn down the volume to mute so that it does not disturb the presentation. We also ask that you keep your comments to yourself and not disturb the meeting. And now we will start with the presentation. Be it resolved that the meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding a public hearing pursuant to section 96 of the Planning Act. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Shetty moves, Councilor Campbell seconds it. Any comments or any comments, questions? None? Can I have a mover, please? Can I move for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Carried. A public. Okay, so now we'll have the planner come forward and make a presentation.
thank you, Mayor. This is variance application VO 127 of 2023. It's for a property located at 45 Prairie Sage Street, and the purpose of this application is to reduce the side yard setback for an uncovered walkway. So as per section 3.24.1.6 of your zoning bylaw, uncovered walkways can be within a required side yard, or any yard for that matter, but can be no closer than 1 foot to the property line. And this one is 0.67 feet, or about 8 inches to the property line. Here's the subject property. You can see on the air photo, it's a corner lot. And here is the applicant's site plan showing you the existing house and the walkway. That's just on the left-hand side of your screen. And here is a photo just showing the uncovered walkway that we're talking about. That's on the north side, adjacent to the public right-of-way, and you can see there with the mailboxes there. For council's consideration, the uncovered walkway already exists. It's been poured. The subject property has a single-unit detached home, which is characteristic of the area. It's a single-family home type of a neighborhood. It's located on the north side of the property, which abuts a road right-of-way, so impacts on other properties should be minimal, if any. And it was just noted in comments from the municipality in October when we got comments that there may be a potential concern with sufficient drainage on the property, some pump discharge with this being so close. So should the council wish to approve this, there are 3 conditions that are recommended. One is a standard condition that the variance is limited to what's being proposed. Any changes would require new variances. So should they wish to make this sidewalk or uncovered walkway bigger, they got to come back to council, or ever want to replace it, they have to come back to council again. Number 2, the municipality requires that the sump pump discharge to be relocated so it's not to drain on the public property and lead to hazardous icy conditions on public sidewalks and or roads. And number 3, that the approval is subject to inspection and confirmation by the municipal engineers that the proposed work will not cause the property to drain onto the neighboring lands. That's all I have at this point, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Does council have any questions to the planner? Councilor Patrick?
Yeah, just one quick question. So just a quick question on the history. How did this application come to Red River Planning?
I'll be through a notice of violation and through the municipality.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Bichette?
Just a question here, just for clarification, because there's a couple of things that counteract each other here. So we have one line at 4.5.4.4 that says the uncovered walkway is located on the north side of the property, which abuts a road right-of-way. Thus, there is nothing to suggest that the retention of the walkway would have any adverse effect on any properties. But then they're saying that they got to see if the grades get a match. So one, it's telling us there's going to be a problem, but then one is telling us that it's not going to affect any other property.
I think that's, so in reference to approving a variance, one of the criteria is that it shouldn't have an adverse effect on another property. So because it's not located next to another property, it wouldn't have an adverse effect on another property, but it may have an adverse effect on the municipality's right-of-way. That makes sense.
I was just thinking that would be part of it, because they talk about somewhere in there that it's the road right away with the mailboxes there. It's just, I guess, how it's written that way.
Yeah, when we refer to a property, we're referring to like a titled property under the Real
So
Property
it's
Act.
not gonna be like they're discharging their water onto the neighbor's property.
That's exactly right.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Clyburn?
Yeah, but the discharge is going to be on an adjacent public sidewalk and North Haven Way. So our planner, Ms. Elias, wrote an email saying that this was a problem and that they have to relocate so as to not drain on public property, leading to hazardous icy conditions. And it's not clear from the information that's been provided whether or not, what the width of the approach is. The maximum width permitted is 6.5. The approach was measured at 5.8 before the work was done. And the driveway extension was not inspected and approved prior to concrete being poured. So there's multiple problems here.
Any other questions?
Just another follow-up question on page 2 of 8 of the report, the last bullet on the considerations. It says that there's also concerns of the width of their approach at the property line, and that the driveway extension was not inspected and approved prior to concrete being poured. What is?
Yeah, that's the same one I was just talking
Oh,
about.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's from Pam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No more questions for the planner? Can I call up the applicant, please? Is the applicant here? Is that you? All right, just come on forward, please. State your name, your address. are you gonna be speaking too? Yeah, then please come forward too. What's your name, your address?
My name is Chairman Singh Dillon. I live at 45 Prairie Sage Street,
Okay.
West St. Paul.
We are living in the same block, I'm living in the same.
You live in the same place? Okay, so, just, you have anything to say what you're, on the reasons
So
why?
regarding this paving, that extra that has been, the sidewalk that has been built, so we got the letter on October 27th, we believe, and we got possession of this property just 2 days before that, on the 25th. So this happened before we got possession of the property, and the purpose for the sidewalk is just to get access to the back door. It's not used for any businesses, no commercial purposes. It's just simply to get access while the drive is occupied by cars to the side door.
Okay.
So you took possession, let me ask a
go
question.
by
You took
myself.
possession, but you knew the sidewalk was going in, and you knew the extension of the driveway was going in.
I'm not, I'm not the owner of the property like he is, like I'm not sure.
You're the owner of the property?
Yes,
So you knew it was going in?
yeah, so when we get the possession, just 2 days after we get the letter, right?
Yeah, but you asked for this sidewalk, and you asked for the extension of the driveway, did you not? Because if you didn't, then that's something to take up with your home builder. But you did ask for
I
it,
think the
obviously.
previous owner, right?
Yeah. So what it looks like to me, sir, is that you didn't do your due diligence here. When the RM is writing a letter and saying that we've got a discharge problem, and they're concerned about it, and you've poured an extension to driveway without proper inspection, the inspection would have caught that. The inspection would have said, no, you can't do that. So that's a problem. You have to stay within the boundaries of what your property is. You know, you can't plead ignorance and say, well, I took possession 2 days after the letter. It doesn't matter. You've been building this home for a long period of time to get into it, and that's something that your builder and you should have been discussing. Yeah.
Councilor Campbell?
You say, you've said it twice now, previous owner, so did you buy this house already
Yes,
from
we
someone
buy,
else?
not from the builder, someone else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did not
The
have this
first owner
house?
is different, right?
Okay, so you didn't have this house built, someone else did, and then they decided to sell it partway through? Because the house wasn't occupied even before you, was it?
The house was no, I believe it was not occupied, they just sold it to us as soon as it was built, I guess.
So, okay. Anyone else have any questions?
Can I just get clarification from the planner? So that sidewalk on the side there to the right of way, how many inch, I'm just trying to, there was just two separate numbers, I'm looking at driveway and how many inches is it off from,
8.
so it's, okay.
So it's over by 4 inches. Or no,
It's over by
8 inches.
Yeah, that's, yeah, I was looking at it
Yeah.
the wrong way too.
And also just one thing to add regarding the some part discharge, regarding the water, we can take that up with the builder for sure, and definitely have it relocated.
Who's the builder?
Serena Home.
So I guess I'm not quite clear. Who asked for the sidewalk to be in?
The previous owner of the house.
Or previous owner of the house asked the builder to put the sidewalk in?
Yes, we believe, yes.
So the builder was the one that? and then he
Yeah,
bought-
because we're not aware of we were just sold the house, like we weren't aware of this situation. Because we got possession on the 25th, then got a letter 2 days later. We didn't know if it was done to accordance or like according to the law or not.
Yeah.
But you asked for the extension of the driveway.
The previous homeowner.
But you said there was nobody in there before you.
There's no one there, but they owned the house before us though. Like the owner of the house, he had it built for himself. He got it custom built, and after that, he just sold it to us, and then he moved back home.
Just quick
Go,
question.
go.
Just in terms of the legal agreement between you and the previous owner, was there any clauses in there that stated that that the house is going to be up to code and up to municipal bylaws?
To be
protect you
honest,
guys?
I wouldn't be aware of that.
You may want to check on that.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Councilor,
One more quick question, just to the planner. Do we have a width on that sidewalk that's going down there now and what it, the minimum is that it could be if it was cut back, or how much? But there's gotta be a standard width, it has to be too, so.
It looks like it could be 3 foot 6 inches. It's 4 feet 4 inches right now, which is 8 inches too wide. So take that away, you go down to 3 foot 6. Sorry, 3 foot 8. Thank you.
And if, Councilor Campbell, you had a question?
There's also another measurement closer to that exterior back door. It looks like 5 foot 10 inch, I would say, in the hand drawings. Is that right?
It's 5 foot 0 inches.
Oh,
That's
five.
looks like it's from the wall to the property line, which would be the setback.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just when we blow it up, it goes blurry. so
I know.
it's just
But this,
gas.
but this is a drawing from the owner. This is not a drawing
Yeah.
from the RM and what they've measured, so. Can I ask a question to the planner?
Yep.
The extension of the driveway was never approved. So, so the concrete got poured and it would have to have an inspection, would it not?
Red River, that would be for your municipality. Red River doesn't
Can you
issue
speak to
permits for
municipality?
driveways.
Pam, can you speak to that? Ms. Elias?
For extensions for a driveway, it would be inspected before pouring.
Yeah. So what do we do now? That they've poured it and it hasn't been inspected?
Yeah, if someone pours a driveway without inspection, and if they don't have any photo evidence, then we won't return the deposit on the property.
You're gonna have problems down the road. Because you haven't had an inspection done properly. Okay.
Any more questions?
I just do.
Go ahead.
And whether it's the RMs or our staff, do we show that this house changing hands twice, I guess, kind of thing? Or,
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's our issue.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you very much. Do we have any applicants, people for the applicant, or
No one else registered in support.
anyone in opposition?
In opposition is Eleanor Link.
Do we have to register me there?
Eleanor Link, 1045 Top Shack Road. Well, I had looked at this basically all afternoon today and hear a lot of new information from the owner, or from the present owner. So I have a new question. When a house changes hands, doesn't a survey have to be done? Isn't some legal work supposed to be done to check out that houses are actually set on the property according to the survey? If so, I can't imagine that people who bought the house wouldn't have considered the survey results, would have shown a lot of this. I have still questions for the applicant, who is the current owner. So I know there's a front door, and I know there's a back door, and I know there's a 3-car garage on the house. And that probably has an entrance into the house as well. So that's 3 entrances. So I'm wondering why a 4th entrance, if you are requiring a 4th entrance to get into this, to get into the house. Are you needing that sidewalk? And I personally question the need for enhanced extra access when they have all the normal accesses that people have. Now, if this application is approved, I think condition number 2 regarding the sump pump discharge benefit, sump pump discharge would benefit from a timeline being added. I drove by as part of COP, and I knew this application was out, so I looked. Yes, there was no drain onto North Haven Way, but the drain had been moved so that it was draining onto Sagebush Street. Same thing would have happened. The drain was resulting in some water on the public road. So, so I think that condition of the sump pump having to be installed is very important. I don't know if there is enough information that council has.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any more opposed? Opposed?
We did receive a letter from Norma Elberg in opposition. That
Okay.
was forwarded to council earlier today.
Okay.
No one else registered in opposition.
Anyone for information?
For information is Jerry Belinky.
Jerry Belenky, 354 Garden View Drive. The concern I have is the sidewalk is abutting municipal property. It's very high, like higher than a standard step. So my concern is if somebody should step off, and right now the way it sits, I think it's only like 4 inches closer to the property or 6 inches. Now, when they fall off onto the municipal property, does the municipality have any liability? That's my concern.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
For information is Gardev Dole.
Is she here? Who's,
Nishtar Gill for information.
No, just come from,
Sure, yeah, no problem. Also, Jay Mickle.
oh, you, okay. Okay, I'll ask the applicant to come forward again, please, to answer those questions. So, are you able to answer the questions that was asked? Did you have a survey done before the property?
Yes, if you don't mind, are the questions, can we repeat them once more?
Okay, was there a survey done before you purchased the property?
We-
Of the land, to make sure that it was within what the confines of the building was on the property?
We saw POC, property inspection, we see?
no.
No.
No survey was done, okay. Some pump,
Regarding the sump pump, we can take it up with the builder for sure, and we can have it replaced, relocated somewhere, where it's safer for everyone.
okay, I guess the question was, should we have a timeline on it? I guess you can answer that. And anyone else, any questions?
And I believe there was also a question regarding the third entrance.
Oh,
So-
yes, right.
Yes. We don't use the back door as it's just dirt, so we don't go through the back. And regarding the garage and the front entrance, that's just for the upper level of the house. The side is just for the basement, and it helps, like, we have a grandma and stuff, like, it helps her to go down there easily and just through the side instead of getting taken up there. It's just a little hard for her to walk. That's pretty much it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you just say that your basement is not connected to your house?
No,
The
our basement-
regular level of your house?
It is connected.
Oh, okay, so you have a suite in the basement for grandma?
Yeah, we can put down a TV and stuff like that. That's what's down there for her.
Councilor Campbell? Okay, any other questions, none? Okay, thank you very much. So now we'll close this public hearing. Be it resolved that the council do hereby close the public hearing and resume the regular order of business. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Pat
Second.
moves, Councilor Clyber seconds it. Could I have any comments, questions? Hearing none, can call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. So now I'll read the resolution. Whereas an application for variance 127-23 was received for the property located at 45 Prairie Sage Street to decrease the regular side yard separation in order to allow an uncovered walkway to remain in the SRS Service Residential Zone from required 1 foot to 0.67 feet minimum. And whereas under the provisions of the Planning Act, a public hearing has been held to hear representation both for and against the application, therefore be it hereby resolved that after careful consideration, Council of the Municipality hereby approves variance order 127-23 with the following conditions. This variance is limited to what is proposed within this application. Any changes will require a new variance approval. Municipality is requiring the sump pump discharge be relocated so it does not drain on public property and lead to hazardous icy conditions on public sidewalk and road. Approval is subject to inspection and confirmation by municipal engineers that the proposed work will not cause the property to drain into the neighboring land. A variance order will expire and cease to have any effect if it is not acted on within 12 months of the date of the decision. A board, council, or planning commission may extend the deadline under subsection 1 of the for an additional period no longer than 12 months if an application is received before the initial deadline. Could I have a mover, please?
So
Councilor Campbell, Tactican moves. Councilor Clyber seconds it. Any comments, questions? Councilor Tactican?
Yeah, I moved it for discussion. First of all, I want to congratulate the applicant for the purchase of their new home. Welcome to the neighborhood. West St. Paul is growing by leaps and bounds. There's lots of new development that's occurring here. You're moving into a new development, and it's going to be a showpiece development. So in that regard, I think that it's really important that that rules they're put in place for a reason, and that in as many instances as possible that people are conforming to the rules, builders, purchasers, new homeowners. So the way this motion is worded, I really can't support it. The good news is that it's not a big fix for you. You're looking at pulling it back 8 inches, and the sump pump, it sounds like you're going to resolve that. I'm not sure about the front approach, but you'll have to deal with that through proper inspection. But as it stands, I can't move. I have to support the fact that you're in violation of the RM's rules and regulations, and that we need to bring into conformance. Otherwise, you have a beautiful home, you're moving to a beautiful neighborhood. But unfortunately, that would be my decision on this.
Anyone else? Councilor Clyber?
yeah, I can't support this either. And, you know, we have certain lot sizes, certain side yards. The builder is supposed to adhere to it. When you purchase a property, your lawyer should be going through that, making sure everything is correct. When our own staff sends an email and says there's a notice of violation, this is not just a neighbor, this is our staff saying that, you know, the extension of the driveway has not been properly inspected. It's been poured and not inspected. The sub pump is discharging in the wrong. To change a sub pump is not as easy as you think it might be. And so you've got to change that discharge. And then on top of it, the sidewalk is too large. There is a, you know, you can be, I'm sure you could probably put in paving stones for that area and stay within the side yard limits as well. So, you know, there are remedies to this, but it has to get cleaned up and it has to be done properly. We can't keep doing variances for all these small side yards. You know, you have to follow the rules. That's just the way that it is. And if we keep letting, you know, let one person go, then we gotta let more and more and more people go. Then what is the point of having a side yard limit? You've gotta follow the rules. You gotta follow the limits. So unfortunately, I don't know how it changed hands or when it changed hands, but when you purchase a home, you gotta do your due diligence. That's just the way it is. I can't support this.
Anyone else? No? Okay, I will call for a vote. All in favor? Seeing none, all opposed?
Nay.
Defeated. Now we'll,
You're free to go.
Yep.
A letter will probably be sent to you, I believe. So, you're welcome to stay, but you're welcome to go as well.
so we'll continue on for the next public hearing. Be it resolved that this meeting of council is recessed for the purpose of holding a public hearing pursuant to section 105 of the Planning Act. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved, Mr.
Councilor
Mayor.
Pat Cam moves. Can I have a seconder, please? Councilor Campbell seconds it. Any comments? Hearing none. Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Okay, go to 5.15. Can I, let's see. Okay, a public hearing was held in the manner of conditional use 3823 for the property
Mr.
located
Mayor?
at.
If the planner could make his presentation?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I got my notes wrong here. Okay, that's what I was wondering. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. As you noted, this is conditional use application CU 38 of 2023. It's for a property that's located at 3767 Pipeline Road. And the purpose of this is the applicant's proposing to allow a religious assembly in the A80 agriculture zone. So the property is about 20 acres in size. It's a rural property. It's zoned as A80 agriculture. In the development plan, it is designated as resource and agriculture, which is supposed to be just for farming. And the applicant is proposing to establish a religious assembly type of a use. These are places of worship. Typically, uses include like churches, chapels, synagogues, mosques, and the like. And they can also include some associated uses with those facilities, like parish halls or daycares and that sort of thing. So those are usually associated with that type of a use. As it noted in the application, this would include, the applicant's proposing a 14,000 square foot building, give or take, along with over 230 parking spaces for vehicles. Here's the subject property on the air photo. You can see it has an existing home at the front of the property along Pipeline, and then it's one of these long, skinny rural properties. Here's the site plan, which shows up not too bad, which shows the existing home on the, I guess we can say the top left of the screen, and then the new building kind of centered to the bottom of the screen there with the parking around it, as well as some artistic renderings of what the applicant proposes. So as I noted, this is designated in the development plan or the master plan as resource and agriculture, which restricts land uses to really just farming and farming related types of activities. This is important note in that the development plan was established in 2020 and your zoning bylaw was established in 1999. Now the zoning bylaw still lists as a conditional use, religious assembly as something to contemplate, but what Red River Planning would say is that your zoning bylaw has not caught up to the current policy direction in the development plan. So that's something for council to consider. The proposed religious assembly would be located to the rear or to the east of the existing single-family house. And this was also circulated to Medical Agriculture, which notes concerns with the proposal as it may conflict with neighboring agricultural types of uses. Should council wish to approve this, there are 4 conditions which are proposed here. Number 1 is that the conditional use approval would be limited to what is proposed, so anything different would have to come back to council. That would also relate to the size of the building and whatnot. The applicant owner is to require all permits and approvals, including but not limited to those from our office, Red River Planning District, arm of West St. Paul, as well as conservation and highways. Conservation would be for on-site wastewater as well as drinking water. The applicant owner is to obtain a letter of clearance from the RM to ensure that the property is in compliance with all other bylaws, including the zoning bylaw. And finally, that the applicant owner should enter into a development agreement with the municipality to address a number of issues ranging from site development to hours of operation, as well as how you're going to handle garbage and recycling services. That's all I have at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Council have any questions? Councilor Patkin?
Yeah, just to the planner, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, Mr. Eno, you mentioned, I just sort of caught the comment, you said something didn't catch up to something, what was that again?
So the development plan, which is the, in the hierarchy of planning documents, is at the top. That was adopted in 2020.
Okay.
Your zoning bylaw, which is supposed to adhere to the development plan, was adopted in 1999. If I was making a zone today in your zoning bylaw for agriculture, I would not recommend that you have any other uses other than agriculture types of uses in this type of an area. So that's where I was getting from, that the zoning bylaw hasn't caught up to the current policy direction.
So is one way to achieve that through a secondary plan?
No, one way to achieve that is just through updating the zoning bylaw, which is, you know, we're working on that.
So what you're saying is there shouldn't be anything on here but agriculture, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead,
Are you finished your
Councilor Kane.
question?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is there an apartment in here?
An apartment?
Yeah, in the plan, there's an apartment. If this is a religious place, why is there an apartment
The
in here?
living quarters is good.
I'm
Why would there be living quarters in here?
sorry, I didn't see that. Maybe that's a question for
Well,
the
look at
applicant.
page 10, go to the thing that says apartment, and then it has an apartment there, living quarters. So, I mean, I'm having a hard time seeing it, but I can read apartment.
Yeah, I saw it too. It might be best.
And there's 2 beds there, so obviously it's an apartment.
Oh, I see.
There was also a comment from our fire department wondering the same thing.
I think that's probably a good question for the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone
I
else?
thought that you would have caught it when the application came in.
I did.
No, okay.
Any other questions? So I guess, do you know what the width of the property is?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I can get that for you if you like.
Is it, I thought it was in some, I couldn't find it. Oh, yeah, 338 wide, lot size is 338.
Quarter of a
wide.
quarter mile.
Yeah, because it's 20 acres out of an 80 acres, and that's
Yeah.
80
Yeah,
acres.
I see that.
Okay.
Quarter mile back.
2,500, okay. Okay, could I have the applicant come forward, please? Is it just you, or you got
With
more?
340.
No, I got one.
Whoever's going to speak, they need to come forward, please.
We can share one if you don't have enough. It's fine.
Oh, you want to do it?
Do you want the remote? Yeah.
So I plug this in?
Yeah.
And then.
By all means, yes, you have some information to give us?
We've got the presentation loaded on that.
And I just keep on saying next slide.
Pleasure.
You'll be, Jen can then bounce through this, okay?
If you need to go ahead, just press it.
That's right.
There, that should do it. Oh, was it
Here,
not?
we get it all set.
I just
So Jen,
opened up the
this is-
presentation.
This is just your, who is this from?
I'll go over it in a moment if you don't mind, Councillor Clive, or I'll explain it.
Okay, so are you ready to speak?
It's just my presentation that you.
Yeah, we're just
Oh, okay.
loading the screen.
Why it's not, maybe I'll download the,
You have to share your screen.
no. I just opened up the PowerPoint before. Maybe I'll just try that. Yeah, the PowerPoint out here.
Go back.
Pipeline. Okay.
PowerPoint seems to work now. The other touch.
I don't know. I don't get it. What is this?
Good evening, council members. My name is Tajinder Singh. I am one of the applicants for this application for a religious youth assembly on this piece of land located at 3767 Pipeline Road. I'm just going to show you my presentation and then we can address all the concerns. Okay, the current site is located on a 20-acre farmland zoned AAD, which has a 1986 house on it, owner occupied currently. No farming is being done on this site since the last 10 years. This is the piece of information we got from the owners. Okay, this is the site access and demographics. There is farmland on the north and south. The immediate neighbors, some residential development south on Pipeline Road and towards southeast on Corona and Deerman Road. 3707 Pipeline Road, which is next door neighbor, is residential with farm use. This is suitable for community farming with religious assembly. Our main agenda over here is to practice farming along with religious assembly. So this just shows the neighboring properties, 3707 Pipeline. Also, I believe no farming is being done on that lot as well. It shows certain residential lots that are on the back of this property and towards south as well, towards Grassmere Boulevard. Now, this religious assembly is going to be a Sikh Gurudwara. Most of the Sikh community lives in the north of Winnipeg, Maples, West Mandalay, Leela North, Garden City, Highland Park area. This site is about just 15 minutes away. So it is near to the community where community is living, and there are also some businesses that have been owned by the community in West St. Paul area. Points to consider: we did engage with planners who initially emailed us saying that a religious assembly will be supported as a conditional use for your application. That's how we initiated on it. As per zoning bylaw on AAD land, religious assembly is permitted. Our emphasis is community farming along with religious prayer. At minimum, we are pledging 20% of food grown to be donated to food bank. Sikh faith goes hand in hand with farming. Our first guru, Guru Nanak, was a farmer whose teachings we want to imbibe. We want to get community connected to farming and religion under one site. Same practice happens back home in Punjab, which is missing for immigrants. Sustainable farming with religious worship and food for all initiative is our main motto. Sikh community is a community of farmers. I have given you a handout as well. Similar concept was approved and is currently running on a 70-acre site on the outskirts of Edmonton. In one of the handouts I've given you, we have the article states about that 70-acre farm that is being run in Edmonton, where volunteers from different parts of Canada and in even that community come to do farming and religious service under one roof. Okay, these are certain examples where another Gurudwara was approved with a farmland in Kelowna by the Kelowna Council. This was done recently in 2023. This is another photograph of our 10th Guru imbibing on the formation of Khalsa, and that was done, initiated by starting with Jat peasants who are farmers. There is also one poetry or slogan written by our Guru that a farmer lifts his plow, earns Guru charity, distributing the food, whatever he has produced, and distributing it amongst others, and after that he can eat from that plate. This image shows the 70-acre site in Edmonton, on the outskirts of Edmonton, where they do wheat farming on the 70-acre, and there is a Sikh temple over there. Our proposal on Pipeline is a miniature version of this proposal. Again, to reiterate, we will be doing farming. That's why we went for this. We want to acquire this land. We did some neighborhood consultation. This letter shows one of the support from one of the neighbors in the front. Another letter showing letter of support from one of the neighbors on Pipeline Road. Okay, design considerations. I've shared the design with you. So parking currently is shown for 236 cars. We are willing to modify our entry and exit requirements if needed by the fire department or by the public service over here. We will start with initially 7,200 members. Prayer service to be held every Sunday of every week, like 4 times a month. Timings on Sunday will be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Very less traffic on Sunday, and farm activities are also not done on Sundays, which we believe.
Excuse me, did you say 7,200 members?
70 to 100 members.
70 to 100?
100
Okay.
members. Community farming and gardening to be done as per the roster and duties of the members and their availability. Weekdays and Saturdays for farming will be there. We anticipate 10 to 12 members for farming during spring and summer season. Wheat, corn, vegetables including lettuce, cabbage, cauliflower, and some pulses will be grown over here. Farming will be done on 16 acres, which is 80% of the land. That is going to be left after this Gurudwara and the existing home and the front yard. And to just mitigate certain concerns by certain departments.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask that you keep your comments down. There's no chatting in between because you're disturbing the presentation. Okay, thank you. Sorry, go ahead, continue.
Okay, there will be on-site septic tank for sewer service. We are proposing, and we have consulted with the municipal engineer and a sprinkler company. We will be installing a cistern/underground well for sprinkler system for the whole building. So this will mitigate any concern fire department might have. Except plastic, which will be recycled, 100% of the garbage to be turned into manure and compost for farming. Fencing and trees will be planted on both sides that will block any dust and any livestock or from neighboring properties. In this slide, you can see the 8 feet high fencing, which will be placed, wooden fencing, and plus we are going to plant some additional trees along with that fencing. Okay, now design and floor plan of the temple. So we have a small community library which will have our history books of Sikh religion, basically. There will be a garage storage for farming equipments like tractor combines, for which we'll be doing harvesting. We have a community kitchen, community langar hall, where anybody can come in and food or langar will be provided irrespective of their caste, creed, religion, without any bias. We have a religious prayer room over here where our holy guru, who is our last guru, Guru Granth Sahib, that's a holy book, will be placed and prayers will be done. And in terms of your specific question, there is an apartment in this temple. That's not an apartment, ma'am. That is a place where the priest can rest once the prayer service is over. So this is just a proposal, and we can modify it if needed. These are the elevation plans, a single-story building. Okay, concerns agricultural activities and community farming with religious prayers is the main objective over here. We will expand our farmland for just farming in the near future based on funding, if it gets approved today over here. Let's see how it goes. There will be a cistern / underground well for sprinkler system to extinguish fire. It mitigates comments from fire department. Farming will be done by members on rotational basis. We are willing to contribute our fair share within reasonable amount for front road improvement as suggested in one of the conditions by the department, but not 1.7 million as they are suggesting. We will operate only on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So increased traffic should not be a concern over here. Currently, very little farming to no farming happening on this road in the last 5 years. Our activity on Sundays will be indoors mostly. So one of the concerns raised by Manitoba Agriculture, manure application, seeding and harvesting activities will have no impact on us, and we are practically doing the same thing what other farmers are. So rest of the days we will be doing the same farm activities like other people in the area. In my closing comments, we asked for your support on this project. It's favorable to city and West St. Paul's overall community development. Concept matches character and development plan for farming services. We will turn this 20-acre into a model farming site for non-profit. Will help in social and cultural bonding between multicultural Canadians. We will be investing about $2.5 million in the community of West St. Paul via this project. New jobs will be created and existing vacant land will start producing food. Your support will help us connect to our guru and farming roots, Food for All initiative. These are my closing comments. Thank you for your time and patience hearing. And if you want to,
Questions of you first.
So,
Do you have a,
I have my own presentation. I don't know if council wishes to ask any questions of Tejinder first, or if you want me to make my presentation from a planning perspective.
do you want to hear? Jen?
I would say we let Jennifer or Miss Lim go, and then we ask any questions.
Okay.
Graduate? Yeah, okay, comments?
Thank you kindly. Okay, so my name is Jennifer Lim. I'm a registered professional planner and director of planning with Barnes & Duncan, number 6 Donald Street in Winnipeg. So good evening, council, administration, and residents of West St. Paul. Thank you for the opportunity to present in support of the application for a religious assembly. I'm here today with expertise in land use planning to act as a representative for proposed development of a Sikh Gurdwara at 3767 Pipeline Road. Before I discuss this land use proposal, let me provide council some context on the matter before you and relate the importance of this development to residents in your community. Sikhism is the second largest religion in Manitoba. Canadian Sikhs represent a vibrant and growing community in our province. The proposed development incorporates farming practices that align with Sikh religious practice currently unavailable to other local Gurdwaras. This is a very important consideration to this specific proposal. So I'd like to ask council to turn to the applicant's letter of intent. And that's found on pages 7 and 8 of your report packages. It should be this one right here. So in the second paragraph, the letter of intent provides the statement, and I quote, "We want to establish a religious assembly building behind the existing house." The next paragraph states, "Behind the new temple building, we will be using the existing farmland for agricultural farming of vegetables and grain crops." So the property at 3767 Pipeline Road is zoned A80, and religious assemblies are listed as conditionally permitted in the zoning district. Table 12 of the zoning bylaw also confirms that general farm activities that would include farming and limited produce sales are permitted primary use types in the A80. This Gurdwara would not need to seek any additional approvals for farming practices that may be restricted in more urban areas. Now, I've carefully read through the planning report prepared by the planning district, and I've read through the comments provided by the commenting agencies. So much of what I'm going to say here is in response to information found in your report packages. The first point I want to address is the comments from agriculture found on page 13 of your report package. If you wouldn't mind turning to that page. That's this one right here.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a minute, guys.
Are we all on the same page now?
No, not yet.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Mayor.
No, that's right. Trying to get to it. Was it with part of the presentation? Because I don't see anything like.
Mayor,
this.
just type in 13 on your page there. You see at the top where it says 8 of 16 or 1 of 16? Type in 13, it'll bring it up.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm on. There's 16 pages altogether?
Yeah.
There are,
Okay.
that's correct. Are we all on the same page now?
Yep. Go
Awesome.
ahead.
Thank you so much. The land use specialist at Manitoba Agriculture has indicated that a religious assembly use is incompatible with farming use types, indicating that while Manitoba Agriculture has no authority in reviewing conditional use applications, that the application for a religious assembly, quote, will impact agriculture. On behalf of the province, this department recommends against the approval of this application. In response, religious assembly and farming practices are historically compatible worldwide. I would have to reach out to the province to seek clarification on their interpretation of this regulatory process. So I want to take a moment to talk about the regulatory process. We're here tonight for a use type that is conditionally permitted in the A80 zoning district. The province of Manitoba's Guide to Zoning Bylaws is easily found online. I'm sure we could ask the planning staff to just do a quick search and pop it on up there if you want. Just let me know if you'd like me to ask and they can bring it up. But basically, it provides practical guidance on the role and function of zoning to a primary audience of working officials for municipalities and planning districts outside of Winnipeg and Brandon. The guide is also useful to the general public, to the development community, and others with an interest in zoning. It was published in 2015. Under the first book of the guide, called Component A, it gives clear direction on the purpose of listing a use as conditionally permitted under a zoning bylaw, stating that conditional uses are uses that are generally consistent with other uses in the zone that may be allowed at the discretion of council, typically approved with a list of related conditions. What is critical to observe under that guide is that, and I quote from the guide, zoning bylaws should not classify uses as conditional unless there is a reasonable chance they will receive council approval, end quote. And that's found on page A15 of that guide. If a use is not permitted or conditionally permitted, it is prohibited. If I can ask council now to turn your attention to page 2 of the planning report.
Can I ask you a quick question? You keep using the term conditionally permitted. If it was conditionally permitted, you wouldn't be here asking our permission. So it's a conditional use that can be applied for. We still have to permit it.
It's not a permitted use, it's a conditionally permitted use. So
It's a
on
conditional use.
on conditions.
That we have to permit. It's not a given because.
That's the same thing that I'm saying right now.
Well, the way that you're putting it is like, it is conditionally permitted and we should approve it. It's an option that can be done, but it still has to come through council because the zoning is not there for that use.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, can I just continue with my presentation, please? Thank you kindly. So if I can ask council to turn your attention once again to page 2 of the planning report package. Staff have provided a select list of development plan policies and objectives that were deemed relevant to this proposal. So I want to go through those bulleted items with council. If we read 4.1a, we can confirm that yes, as clearly stated in the letter of intent, this development will protect, support, and strengthen agriculture as a primary land use. Given this land has not been farmed for the past 10 years, the placement of the Gurdwara would restart and enhance the practice of actively farming the lands once again. Objective 4.1c states that the planning district has an objective in the resource and agricultural area that aims to prevent, and I quote, the development of conflicting use types, end quote. And then goes on to read that it seeks to protect, and I quote, an inflating effect on agricultural land assessment, end quote. Your council package does not contain written correspondence from assessment services confirming this development will have an inflating effect on agricultural land assessment. The remaining objective, which is 41H, and the two policies 412 and 416, touch again on notions of compatibility that seem to allude to a requirement for council to prohibit religious assembly in your agricultural areas. I want to go down to the very last bullet point on that same page now. It states, while the zoning bylaw established in 1999 lists a religious assembly as a potential use in the 880 zoned areas, this is a conflict with the development plan established in 2020. Therefore, the zoning bylaw is outdated and not caught up to the development plan. So in response, I would like to bring to council's attention the municipality did a major update to the zoning bylaw in 2022, nearly 2 years after the development plan bylaw was adopted. Under that update, council authorized many changes, including, but not limited to, a major housekeeping update based on a list of items that had been recorded by regional and local planning staff. That drafted bylaw was circulated to commenting agencies and vetted by regional and local planning staff. Changing a religious use to prohibited use in agricultural zoning districts could have been contemplated at that time. However, it is my understanding as a registered professional planner that land use policies should never be interpreted or be suggested to be interpreted in a manner that might violate human rights in Canada. The freedom of peaceful assembly is constitutionally guaranteed and one of the Charter's 4 fundamental freedoms. The Canadian Bill of Rights protects the freedom of assembly. Having left this use type as conditionally permitted after a major zoning bylaw update confirms that council understood that the right to religious assembly should not be prohibited in West St. Paul's agricultural areas. It should remain a conditional use. So why a conditional use and not just outright permitted? Where bylaws do not prescribe use-specific standards that clearly regulate uses that need your additional oversights, they should be listed as conditional uses so that you can have adequate review of road access locations, culvert sizing, adequate on-site parking, light placement, other landscape developments and considerations. So let's move on to discuss the infrastructure and financial considerations. In your report packages, if we turn to the very last page, in the package under point 3, municipal staff has asked that a contribution be made by the applicant owner to pay for asphalt upgrades to the gravel portion of Pipeline Road between the applicant's approach to Grassmere Road. For council's understanding, the condition that Pipeline be upgraded to an asphalt standard for roughly 1.5 kilometers of road results in an estimated cost of $1.7 million. That suggested condition is written, that suggested condition as written is a poison pill to the approval if granted by council. If this proposal is approved, my client is willing to contribute to the cost. However, we believe in a collaborative approach and in discussing the need for improvements across the entire length of the road suggested by administration. Now, the land development team at Barnes & Duncan includes certified municipal engineers who have a well-known and highly respected reputation to uphold. Our team pulled street maps and traffic flow information and provided high-level feedback based on the site plan's design of 236 cars attending on a weekly basis. I gave to you today an email prepared by Alex Mizvishuk, and it's provided for your reference. What our engineering team concluded is that the proposed development results in an increased impact to the municipal roadway of 34 additional cars per day, which would have a negligible impact on the design life of the gravel road. The site plan was also circulated to Manitoba Infrastructure. While the access is on a municipal road and not under their jurisdiction, we decided to follow up with their offices on this matter, and their offices are considering the impact of the increased traffic that will flow out onto either Rushman or onto Pipeline and Grassmere. We want to know if they want a traffic study impact on this. So we've made that initiative above and beyond what's in your report packages, and based on their feedback coming back, we will provide that to council once we know the answer. So yes, area residents will see the influx on Sundays as patrons come for worship. But the design life of the gravel road would have negligible impact from the proposed use type, which is what the municipality seemingly had concern for. What seems more reasonable is that area residents may benefit from an extension of the asphalt road surfacing to and slightly beyond the driveway at 3489 Pipeline Road. And that's just slightly south of Seiler Road. We're open to discussing how much of the municipal road needs to be improved, resulting in a more feasible financial arrangement that benefits all parties involved. In terms of other infrastructure requirements, the province will determine the requirements for on-site wastewater management systems, such as a septic field, and for potable water. The building code will determine requirements for an on-site cistern related to a sprinklered building. The conceptual site plan can be amended if needed to ensure proper on-site turnaround for fire truck engines. And for every component of regulatory concern, there is a design-related solution that can be made a condition of approval. So as my concluding appeal to council, we're here tonight because a religious assembly purposefully remains a conditionally permitted use that has a reasonable chance of approval in West St. Paul. This decision rests with council, meaning that council can consider all information provided and interpret that information in a manner that favors social solutions and honors our personal freedoms, largely and fairly. This development is more than just a conditional use application. It's an opportunity for West St. Paul to demonstrate its commitment to diversity, inclusion, and community support. Approving this Gurdwara is not just about building a place of worship. It's about bringing back farming practices to this piece of land where everyone, regardless of status and religious belief, can contribute to and benefit from a collective effort towards community welfare. Shukriya. Merci, salamat, miigwech, and thank you for your time. If you have any questions of me, I'd be glad to take them now.
Go ahead, Councillor Campbell.
I just have a few comments slash questions. So Seiler Road, I'm not sure if you're aware or not, that portion to Pipeline is a mud road.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, everybody is aware of that, that we're not making something of it that it's not. And then just to the other gentleman, and I don't want to butcher your name, so you had said that, you know, that you were going to be, it was going to be a $2.5 million, you know, infrastructure basically in West St. Paul, and I'm not sure if you're, and I'm pretty sure I'm confident I'm right on this. Religious establishments do not pay any tax dollars into West St. Paul at all. So that's, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that or not. No. Yeah. So that's, you know, that's, the building would be great and all, but it's not a financial benefit to West St. Paul at all. And right now, that section of pipeline, I'm very familiar with that section of pipeline. I bet you in an average day right now, you'd be lucky if 20 vehicles go up and down that road right now. And I know people that live on that section of road, and there's, you know, very, very many instances where we can't keep up with the gravel from the little bit, you know, because the base of that road is not great. So adding, you know, 3 times the amount of traffic that's daily to it would be substantial. Just, you know, and I understand this is a Barnes and Duncan letter. This person has probably never left an office, right? And they've never been on an actual gravel road, in my opinion. So that letter from Barnes and Duncan doesn't do a whole lot with me. I'm in the construction industry, and I very well, you know, aware what traffic does to gravel roads, especially the gravel roads in West St. Paul. In the fall here, we've had so much wet days. The mud is coming up through it, and it's no longer even gravel roads. We're going to have to blow our budget this upcoming spring to try to get these roads back to some sort of performance. So I think that's all. I did have some other notes, but I'll let everybody else have
Anyone else?
I do have a couple of questions to the applicant. To you specifically, you said in your presentation that you're going to create new jobs, but then in your presentation you said you're bringing in students from UK and India.
No, I never said that we are bringing in students from UK and India.
It's on your presentation. Can you go to your presentation?
The 70-acre farm in Edmonton I showed you in our presentation. There the volunteers do come from overseas. That's just an example. We are not bringing anybody. It is for the community over here, but any volunteer from outside of the community is more than free to come over here and join
So
hands in farming.
why did you put it in there then?
That was just an example to show you the reference to the Edmonton farm.
Oh,
I did not
okay.
say specifically that we are
So-
bringing in students from UK
Okay.
or overseas.
And how big is the entire property? 20 acres, right?
Yes.
That's the
Yes,
entire property?
that's correct.
Okay. Where's your current temple?
Where is our current
Yeah,
temple?
yeah.
There are many temples like in South Winnipeg and North Winnipeg, but none of them has agricultural land along with them, which is an integral part of religious Sikh faith, because every temple back home, we have a farmland along with the temple. It's just within city of Winnipeg, you can't find farmland along with the temple.
So you currently all belong to a temple somewhere, then, right? The people belong to a temple, or you have a temple? Because I know there's a temple right beside Pipeline Road.
Yes, there
In
are
city
many
Winnipeg.
temples in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could re-engage agro here without having a temple, right?
No.
No.
We want the fact of the matter is we want to practice both religion and farming under one roof, which is being done back home as well. It's not like temple is somewhere and farmland is on another place. Back home also we have farmland and temple at one place, because Sikh faith involves langar. Langar is free food for all, and for that, it's not every day people are donating food to the temple. The temple is in itself a self-sufficient place where we grow crops, and from the same crops and vegetables we are preparing that langar. So it is a cycle, chain of cycle which keeps on happening and happening and happening, and that is efficient to the fact also that we can run the temple with that produce. Not just by feeding to the community and other people, but we can probably sell the crops as well, and we can donate a part of it. That is what
Okay.
is being done back home as well.
Yeah, I think you kind of did that in your presentation, so I get that concept. I guess,
That is why
the thing is that when you have farmland and you see farmers, they don't often have a 14,000 square foot building with all kinds of things in it that are not related to farming. They have farming buildings, right? I mean, I think you can do this without putting a temple down if you're really committed to the farming, because you already are members of temples, right? So you could still start the
We could
agriculture
do
on
it, ma'am,
agricultural land. I mean,
we could
wasn't done,
we
but-
could do it, but again, that goes beyond the Sikh faith. We want to establish a religious place with the farmlands. That is our practice. That is our temple. Even the farmlands are imbibed along with the property of what the temple has.
Right.
So
And-
that is the concept that has been happening back home. In other cities, they have started adopting it. It's high time we can get this thing done over here in Winnipeg and surrounding areas.
Okay, thank you, that's all I'm gonna ask.
Thank you.
Councilor Tacto?
So the property that you're talking about here at 3767 Pipeline?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you own it now?
No. We have a conditional offer. We are in process of buying the property, subject to your approval. That's why we have gone above and beyond in spending money on site plans and all other studies we have done with Bonds and Duncan, so that we can demonstrate. I could have just simply come over here with a letter of intent. It was of no use. I wanted you all to share, to see the vision we are having, and if needed be, we can set up a tour to a South Sikh Center where we can show you the concept of langar, and we can establish the fact that what is the problem currently we are facing. We are not having farmlands where we can grow crops and store them, and then it can be self-sufficient. It is just we are dependent on the donations that we are getting and on the government. Instead of being a burden, we want to just be self-sufficient. And we want the future generation, especially the kids from Sikh community which are being born over here, to just connect to their roots. What practice has been happening back home, we want them to experience the same practice over here. Because not every year with this increased fare of airline tickets, and we have changed our world, changed our houses, came to a new country, we want to just get the whole feeling of Punjab over here again. We take our children to the temples inside Winnipeg, none of them have farmland along with it. We are not able to get them the same connect and feeling. What happens in Punjab, cut to whenever they have time, whenever they go over there, it's a completely different. They're thinking that we are having a corporate version of temples over here in Canada. So rather than that, we want to have an exact model where farming will be done. Kids will see the farming, community will get involved, and it's not only for Sikh community. Sikhism is a way of life. It's not a particularly a religion. And our first guru, he was a farmer who was doing the same thing. The same thing has been happening at Nankana Sahib. So you guys can just Google it. It's at the border of India and Pakistan. It lies in Pakistan, from where Sikh pilgrimages from northern India. The border is open now just to visit that place. Our Baba Nanak was doing farming over there. So a temple is established along with farmlands which Pakistani people are now operating, where we go over there, and through YouTube or whatever, the council can find time and just look at the concept that agriculture goes hand in hand with Sikh faith. And this is just starters. Okay, our farming activities will expand, and this 20% food donation that we are committed to, because back home there is poverty. You go to any Sikh temple, outside the Sikh temple there are hungry people being fed, and we do donations over there. But here, the poverty, you don't see poverty on streets or anything. The government has specific food banks where we can donate the extra crops to. It will help to reconnect the community to their roots, help the new generations understand the importance of farming, manual labor, and plus crop scarcity is going to happen. Believe we can either address it now. In 10 years, it is bound to happen. As the world order is changing, we have seen times of COVID as well, where food scarcity was one of the most.
I have two follow-up questions for you. So firstly is, can you speak to, you said other municipalities, you shared Edmonton, but what other municipalities?
Kelowna, sir.
Just 1 second.
Sorry.
I'm gonna give you my questions, then you can answer. So what other municipalities in Canada are you referencing, and then what's your role with the organization?
Okay, the other municipalities I'm referring to was in outskirts of Edmonton and Kelowna Council. Okay, and my role with the administration is just the consulting part, the design part of it, and then the building stage. I'm not involved in any whichsoever way with the members of the organization who is going to buy. I have been just contacted by them, consulted by them. They have hired me as a consultant, and Jennifer, and this is my role. But because I belong to the community, I have lived in India up until 2007. I come from Sikh faith, so that's how I know what the problems are. As growing up as a child, I have seen this, and this is particularly my agenda over here, nothing else.
So you live in Manitoba?
Yes, sir, I do. I live in Fort Garry. I'm a graduate of University of Manitoba, class of 2011.
Councilor Rashad?
Okay, I've got a few comments. It's gonna be way off what everyone else is questioning, but the existing structure of the home, I guess, what would that be used for?
That can be used for priests again, or other people, because we don't have any intention of demolishing it right now, because it is a strong structure, and members of the community are over here, and they can also answer that when they are making their case.
Okay, next thing. I'm gonna bring it up. I've been on council since 2010, and this land has probably not been farmed for the last 10 years because I'm gonna say every spring that land is underwater. It's flooded to a point where you could jet ski across it. And it's always, you know, I don't wanna say it in a bad way, we have residents calling us, asking us to pump it out. I've driven out there, there's nowhere to pump it. It looks like a lake. So I'm looking at this land, which has probably not been, you know, farmed because of that. And you'd have to build up the property so high just to put the temple in to make sure it's not underwater in the spring. I've seen it to the point where a driveway is sticking out that people can't even get into their yards. The home is standing out, the driveway is sticking out, the land is underwater.
There might be certain type of thing we can discuss with our engineers if given approval, and we can certainly work through that problem as well.
I've driven that whole area for miles. There's nowhere you can pump that much water. It's coming in like a lake. I just wanted to make you aware of that. And if I can ask our planner, how far down the road from there is our former dump site? I believe it's not that far down.
Half
from
mile.
there. I was just trying to find it on Google Maps. Yeah, I got it.
Are you
This
waiting for
land is
that?
a half mile south of Miller, and your former dump is across the road, just south of where Miller Road would be. So there's a quarter section between where they're located and Miller Road.
I just gotta wait for that, because there's a question to that once it, okay, let's say it's a quarter mile, what is it, is there a control zone around that structures?
Right, a half mile,
Yeah.
half mile.
That structures should not be built, or, I just remembered something about,
Looks like it's about 1.5 kilometers. And it would be outside of the buffer area.
outside of the buffer, okay. So what would the buffer area be, like what is a buffer area for, I know there is for dumps, that's why I just wanna.
Looks like the buffer is about 0.5 kilometer around it.
Okay, another question. And potable water, what were you talking, cistern for sprinkler systems, but wells for everything else?
Yeah, underground well where the water will be stored, and from that the cistern pump will help in getting the sprinkler system started.
And are you aware of that,
There's a pool down.
the water in that area, it's in a control zone where there's been a propellant plant that they keep watching the plume on a daily, like, it's constantly coming to us. So, like, is that gonna, like, what's the draw gonna be on that? Is that gonna change this plume from moving?
The land,
Yeah,
the
when-
groundwater was contaminated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so absolutely, we well know that this is in the Rockwood sensitive area, that's what you're referring to,
Yes.
as well as any proximity to waste disposal will have conservation oversight. So we have double conservation oversights happening here. There's an existing potable well for the house that can remain as is. It'll of course be checked and monitored as
They
they
are
go
checked and
along.
monitored.
Yes, exactly. And then for anything that gets placed on the site, it has to be to the government standards. So they will have to go through that process and ensure that they adhere to it, meet all their testing requirements. It's simply following the provincial standards.
I understand that, but at the end of the day, we wouldn't be doing our due diligence by putting something like this in. And I'm not saying the temple, anything in that area, knowing that there's a problem with well water, and there could be potential problem with well water because it's comes to us at a quarterly reports. We're getting updates on it. So there is still a problem if they're checking it.
So the thing that I might say to that, just to smooth it over a bit, is that it's provincial jurisdiction. If we can't get a license for it, the use can't happen. For you, it's not for you to make the decision for province in advance of the province doing their work, right? So if you give the conditional use approval, then at least it gives us the opportunity to seek the correct licenses. If you deny it based on something that you think will happen, how do you know that we won't get the approval is my question to council, right? So,
I'm only using that as one of my examples of the stuff what is going on in that area.
yeah. The other example I would give to you too, and this is just because I know about it, is Prairie Ridge Drive in East St. Paul on the north-hand side is well within a control area, and all those homes went in there with the FAR development. So there are definitely standards that have to be achieved, and people can still live in proximity to waste disposal sites, and it happens.
I'm not talking the waste disposal site. Okay, I have a problem with the potable water with what I hear through the reports that we get. Okay, the next question is, so are you telling us there's not gonna be any big equipment, semi-trucks delivering, picking up, going down this road? Because the way this Barnes and Duncan letter's telling, it's saying 18,000 pound equivalent single axle loads, which are typical cars, pickup trucks and vans. That road is a farm road.
Absolutely, yes.
It's not made for this. There's major upgrades. I think the road needs to be looked at, drill holes, because 1.7 might be low on what that road is. We've had pricing on some of the roads we wanted to get done in West St. Paul.
Yeah.
We had a
that's
number
fair.
and it's come back double.
Yeah, that is fair, and that's why we're asking for the opportunity to have that discussion and do the investigation and see how far it has to be before it's upgraded. What that estimate of the road impact is based on is patrons coming and going. Patrons coming and going are not gonna be driving semi-truck trailers to get to the Gurdwara to practice their faith and to farm the site. You know, there's farmers in the area that take their farm equipment up and down. Farm equipment has a weight that road is built to be able to handle. So same thing for this temple. If they have farm equipment used for their site, it's no different. They're not making any more impact than anybody else is in that area. So that is what that letter is about. Anything that goes beyond the 1,800 axle load limit, which is semi-truck is about 20,000, I believe, axle load. That's when you start looking at potential upgrades. It also does upgrade at a certain number count, and so if it comes back that a traffic impact assessment is required from Manitoba Highways, we commit to sharing that with the municipality and ensuring that we meet those standards as well.
So, and now you're saying, okay, your biggest day, busiest days, I'm gonna say, on the road are Sundays. It's in wide open area, winds are blowing in the middle of winter, and everybody that lives in here that lives in that area knows it's drifting constantly. So how is it expected to have a public works staff in that doesn't work weekends unless we have, major snowstorms, that kind of stuff, making sure that road is accessible for safety on a Sunday?
I think that is it's something that could be discussed as part of the condition of approval. If the RM is fine with the applicant clearing the site with their own equipment, that could be discussed. If they can't provide that service to keep their own roads clear and safe.
Well, no, it's not to keep their own roads. We keep them clear and safe.
Yes.
Right now, it's a farm road.
Yeah.
Which has very minimal access or traffic down it. So it's accessible for the existing, I want to say I'm just going to say handful of residents that live down that road.
Yeah.
But they're all fully aware that if it's blowing from this side of the road, don't even try to go down there.
Yeah.
On a Sunday morning, when they're coming in to worship and stuff, they're on their way there. They're not going to notice it till it gets there.
Yeah, I guess they'll get used to it over time, absolutely, is one solution to that, just like the residents would. I think that if the residents can get down, or if they know how to get around because they've learned it over time, the same will happen of people who come to this Gurdwara.
If I may, all other Sikh temples currently, they have snow clearing equipment, and we have given snow clearing contract to major snow clearing companies, and we can contract a big company. That is not an issue for us, and it can be paid for, and you can put it as a condition that any snow clearing will be the responsible of this Gurudwara, and we can certainly hire any big contractor and they can take care of it with their big farm equipment, like big clearing equipments, not small ones, but big trucks, like semi-tractors or whatever is needed, And if we are spending 2.5 million, we can certainly buy a big, huge machinery to take care of this. There won't be any problem.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, my biggest concern is springtime, this area is like a lake, and road and water are a big issue for me. So, thank you for your time and presentation.
What's gonna happen with the house?
We are going to keep it as of now.
And what are you gonna do with it?
Maybe, or let's say it can be used by our priests and their families, or and plus one volunteer from the community who will be over there as per the roster to take care of the site. So we, at a given point in time, we are going to have 2 priests and plus 2 other helpers, and it will be a place for them or their families to stay. So let's say even if you don't like that apartment in the temple, we can have this current house as the apartment for them to stay.
And do you need this size of building or not? You have 14,000 square feet, is that, like, that's what I,
We,
like, you only have 100 people going here, so to me, it's kind of a big building for.
I understand, sir. Every other Sikh temple, like, let me put it that way, we like to do things a little bit on a bigger scale, so that, you know what, it's not congested, or, and plus, let's say in the near future, since we have parking for 236 cars, if we are able to gather more people, it will size that many people over here efficiently, cleanly, and plus there will be enough space. Nobody will be bumping into each other. And if you want, certainly we can cut down a little bit of it, which we will be willing to, but we certainly would like it to be the way it is, but we are willing to modifications.
Okay, thank you very much. Unless someone else? No? Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to hear from those that are for and opposed. Can you, how many are there? Go ahead.
4, sir, right?
Right?
Yeah, we'll conduct an organization of it. Mayor, also, can we limit how many minutes people are talking if they don't have anything new to add?
Yes, I was going to,
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the reminder. So how many are there that want to go, the total number of people that want to speak for, against, and information?
We have about 15 registered.
15 registered, okay. So I'm going to ask that you guys keep it short, because 15, 10 minutes piece, it's 2 hours. And so we will limit, how long do we want to limit it for? Councilor Kleber?
Yeah.
Got any ideas how long do?
Well, you know, like, if we're all saying, if everybody's saying the same thing over and over again, let's just, you know, if there's nothing new to add to the first or second speaker, then, you know, we acknowledge the for and we acknowledge the against.
Okay, thank
If
you.
there's no new information, then let's just
Okay.
move on.
Can you wait till after this?
Okay. I was saying, all of them are not going to speak. They are here and they can just raise their hands for. Only Dr. Gurpreet.
We'll do that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's our procedure.
Okay, who's the first one for?
In support is Gurpreet Singh.
Come forward.
Thank you so much, Honorable Members. Just one point.
What's your name and address?
Dr. Gurpreet Sandhu. I'm in for favor of this.
Okay, and your
You have to have
address?
your address.
Right now, I'm living with my sister-in-law.
Doesn't matter, we want the address.
142 Middle Church Gate, West St. Paul.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So just everything is go by with my colleagues mentioned. Just want to add one thing that Mr. raised one point, that why you need that building. If you look at the
Excuse me.
floor.
Oh, okay, go.
Sorry.
Are you doing a presentation or?
No,
okay.
just putting my point, just one point and I'm done.
Okay.
If you look at the site plan,
Yep.
so yes, it is the thing you raised it first, that why don't you have one building and do everything? So in that we have a separate things for everything. Like we have a study room for the library. There is a one place we come together and pray and sit all together on the floor. And there is one other space where we go there and we'll have food together all by sitting there. So that's why it's that size of building is there. Yes, we can practice that. We can worship in, like, take an example here. Like, why not 7,000 square feet? We worship here and we cook food here and then we eat here. We generally don't do that. It is some kind of making a difference from the where we pray, where we do study, and where we eat. That's it. That's why.
No, I understand that.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of churches have.
Yeah, that's the only
fine.
point. Yeah. So this is the same thing like you raised initially, that the farm basically farmers, what they do, they build a large building to park their vehicles, their farm equipments and everything. We can also do that, have that building, and we can come together in the same building, eat together in the same building. But yes, we want to make a difference of where we worship it and where we eat and where we study. That's why we come up with this plan.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Anyone else for?
Amandeep Singh?
Name and address, please.
Yeah, my name's Amandeep, and I'm from 79 Turnstone Terrace, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Okay.
I've been in this country for the last 16 years, right? And same thing, I have two kids, 12 and 8. When we discuss with them regarding our culture, like our religious part, right? And they always question. And we try to explain them, but they go back to that, the schools and stuff, they miss that thing again. So we have to keep at them again and again, right? And so this is the best place for us to, when we bring our kids together here, they will see like how we came from, where we came from, and what we actually are missing here, right? And the second question, you are saying that like we are starting with 100 people only, right? Why we need big space? We know that Manitoba is growing, our community is growing. So, like more people will come and we need more space for that. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Manjinder Jeet Singh?
Same thing, okay, that's good, okay. Anyone else?
Amandeep Kerr? The car?
Pardon?
I voting.
Okay, you're okay.
And Laureen and Alan Henkel in support.
Hello, my name is Alan Henkel. I live at 3767 Pipeline Road. Now, there's a couple of things. We've owned this property since '91, over 32 years. I've talked to the farmers on each side of the property. I don't know why, but they're not interested in farming it. So that land has not been farmed for over 32 years. And I don't know how long even before we bought it. The house was built in '86, so I'm going to assume somewhere from then. And as far as the land goes, I don't know what property you're talking about, but that land is never flooded. Never. It is not a swampland. In fact, the farmer on the south side, the previous owner, put a ditchway in to drain his property, and that ditchway is bone dry all the time. And as far as Pipeline Road goes, that is not a farm road. That is a major drive-through. It goes, actually, you can go right to Stony Mountain on that road. Farm traffic, excuse me, I'm a little nervous. Farm traffic is down that road constantly. Big combines, huge combines. The farmers' semi-grain truck up and down that road all the time. There's more than 20 cars of traffic going down that road daily. And right now, I don't know where they're coming from, but there's semi-trucks hauling mud, gravel trucks, going up and down that road all day, constantly. And they are not tearing up the road. There's nothing wrong with Pipeline Road. They maintain it, they put down fresh gravel. I don't know why, because of these gravel trucks, I don't know. And now these gravel trucks are going down this road at 90 kilometers an hour on a gravel road. And now there is nothing wrong with the road. Not even in springtime. There's nothing wrong with the road. And snow removal, the municipality does a great job. That road is cleared all the time. So that's just what I wanted to say. And I think I have nothing to do with what these people want to do on our property. But this is, for over 30 years, nobody wants to touch that property. Now here's an opportunity. These people actually want to try and farm on it. And I think they should be able to do so. Otherwise, it's sitting there, it's just a wasteland. Because you can't even build on it because of your 80-acre law of subdividing. So there's a landlock on it now. You can't do anything with it. If these people are willing to do something with it, I think they should be allowed to do so. Nothing's been happening there for over 30 years.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
No one else registered in support.
Okay.
In opposition is Eleanor Link,
Okay.
also registered for information.
Okay.
Eleanor Link, 1045 Toshak Road. Yes, I registered for information and I sure got a lot of it tonight because it certainly wasn't online. I'm relying on the planner's report. Now, the application before council tonight is for a religious gathering place, a temple with 236 parking spaces. And that temple with 236 parking spaces, and I'm very familiar with the area also, does not fit. We have heard from the planner that this is ag land, and actually we need to value ag land in RRM, or slowly have it eroded for other uses. The ideal place for the temple is the settlement center, which does exist in West St. Paul. If people want to buy land and use it for agricultural purposes, well and good. That is a very positive thing. Now, I think tonight that council is being expected to make conditions tonight and to approve things at this meeting, and this is a very unreasonable expectation. It is unfair to council to drop this on without sufficient information ahead of time to consider. Also, council is being expected to compromise, and people in the area are expected to compromise. But compromise isn't on the plate two ways. There's no compromising about a location for the temple where it would be suitable and using farmland as farmland. And I'd like to ask the presenters if they're aware of the hazardous conditions that their people would have to be coming to this temple. If they're living in the Maples and northern areas of Winnipeg, then the crossing at Pipeline Road and the perimeter is right now horrific. And it's going to get only worse when the commercial development gets going. Highways has said, I went to the open house and talked to some of the people from the highways. Infrastructure and traffic have no active plans for installing the overpass at Pipeline and the perimeter. The best case scenario is that it might be built in about 10 years. Now add 30, 40 more, whatever. I see, whenever I go down Pipeline Road, past Muller Road, I see that that temple there is being used constantly, not just one day per week, but every day, and at all hours there are people coming and going from the temple, which is great. However, do you want your people to be making the traffic conditions for crossing that intersection and for going down Pipeline even worse? You're going to put them at risk. I can't imagine. It's going to be beyond horrific. Now, as for cleaning the road, is that portion of Pipeline belonging to the province or to the RM? I know up to Grassmere at least, it's a provincial road. So, wouldn't there be liability? The province isn't going to allow cleaning of a public road by an institution. There'd be liability involved, wouldn't there?
Mr. Mayor, you can keep it to questions that pertain to this, because we've already asked those.
Okay.
We did put it.
Well, I think I've not said enough.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Kyle Ryan in opposition.
Evening, Kyle Ryan, 221 Caroon Avenue. I strongly believe that this temple should be placed elsewhere due to the infrastructure that is not there yet. Just an example, the Seven Oaks Bus Depot was not allowed until potable water infrastructure was brought to it. But as for everybody else is saying, 70 acres would be more than optimal, but that is not this. This is 20 acres. The question I have is this an land infrastructure on behalf of somebody that's willing to purchase the property, or is the property, changed hands already? And who is the current owners? And that's all I have so far.
Current owners just spoke.
Yeah,
They-
so I
they're
just want to
the
make sure
last
that
one to
they are the Anand infrastructure is
They haven't
putting
purchased the
this
property yet.
right. So
It's
they're
a
putting this up for
conditional
a conditional for the purchase, right?
Yeah,
Perfect.
so if it gets approved, then they're going to purchase the property.
Okay, perfect.
Adam Palasa.
Adam, see you around? Nope, okay.
Jared Mickle.
Jared McCall, 18 Rosemary Path, West St. Paul. The applicant's objective is admirable. The blending of use of land and faith is one that I think we can respect. The question remains, though, is practical means in front of us. We've already heard a lot of the Q&A going back and forth. The Development Plan 2020 should not be overlooked. That is very important. The application is materially incomplete. Yes, there may be elements that need to come to the province, but I'm sorry, but there are items here that we cannot overlook, in particular items that would impact the community of West St. Paul. Being road impact, again, which roads are provincial roads, which should be the local roads. The safety, fire emergency, that is West St. Paul municipality. Who pays for that? The financial assessments. The applicant has actually indicated in their presentation they are not willing to pay $1.7 million of road upgrades that were recommended by the planners, and it's already been assessed that that cost might even be potentially materially even more. This is very concerning. The applicant has suggested $2.5 million of infrastructure. I mean, yes, the building might be like that, but at the end of the day, the institution is effectively not taxable. So what is really being generated for the community is unclear, and the financial assessment of what the gains to the community in comparison to the financial resources and strain on all the other residents of West St. Paul is also not been demonstrated or even put forward to this council or this hearing today. The farmland usage is interesting. It seems well-intentioned, but the building that you see in front of us indicates a storage facility on the top right part of their design that barely has enough for 3 cars. But again, who knows? Maybe that is part of their plan at the end of the day to have enough to be able to do what they intend to do. They do indicate of the 20 acres, roughly 16 would be for indicative farming. Again, I think that's admirable, but I doubt what this is really contributing from that perspective. To me, it's an issue of safety. It's an issue of financial impact to the community. I think, again, it would be nice and welcoming for West St. Paul to welcome this. But the application is in front of us. It's at that specific location on Pipeline. And for that reason, I'm against this motion. I just cannot support it.
Okay, thank you.
Last one registered in opposition is B. King.
Mr. Mayor and councilors, thank you very much. My name is Bruce King. I reside at 3633 Pipeline Road. 3633 Pipeline's on the same side, about a quarter mile south of this particular property. I want to say that when I heard the presentation and the objectives of this organization, I absolutely admire their enthusiasm. I think this is a phenomenal objective that they planned. It sounds like an absolutely wonderful organization, and that concept of combining a religious facility with those type of activities, that's fantastic, and it's going to benefit future generations. So I commend you for your planning, and it's just too bad you found the wrong place to put this. So please come to West St. Paul. There are many, many other sites in West St. Paul. A brand new religious facility just completed quite recently. So the municipality is in fact completely welcoming to religious organizations. And I'm sure with just a little more looking around, you can find yourself a site that's going to be a lot more suitable for this wonderful concept that you have. And I can tell you that not only, however, is that site you've chosen now going to cause me some problems, it's going to cause you a lot of problems as well. I'll get into that in a moment. So again, fantastic idea, fantastic concept, and my opposition has nothing to do with my opposition to your objectives. I hope you succeed. And I'll come and visit you for Lungar someday at your new facility once you get it built. In terms of some facts, we heard facts, quote unquote facts during the presentation that we should clarify. One of the facts, the neighboring property at 3707, immediately south of this property, has never been used for agriculture. In fact, that's a hay field. That's about 20 acres of hay, nice alfalfa mix, and neighbor who also lives on Pipeline takes the hay off there every year, and I buy it. And so I know that hay is coming from that land immediately adjacent to you. Number 2 fact that talked about consultation. I saw 2 letters supporting this. I'm the next most adjacent neighbor. Nobody has knocked on my door. You hire professionals, and if the professionals are going to do a proper job of preparation, then they talk to neighbors. Have you seen a sign up? Does anybody on Pipeline know this is happening? I got the email at 4 o'clock today that somebody alerted me to the fact this is happening. Why wasn't there a nice sign up on the property, proposed Sikh temple, so that the rest of the people in the neighborhood could have been aware of it? So the reality is, I don't think there could have been any consultation, or certainly no substantive consultation. The purpose, back to facts, is going to be used for farming. That's fantastic. Love the idea. The type of farming that I've heard described is market gardening type, which again, fantastic, very intensive, but I can tell you, you've picked the worst site, and the councillors know it. You've picked almost the worst site in the municipality to try to do market gardening. If you're going to do market gardening, historically it was along Main Street, where the soil is compatible to that type of agricultural operation. The soil in this area is heavy, dense clay. There's very little topsoil. If you want, come and look at my property when you drive by, and I have to fertilize the heck out of my front pastures to get grass to grow. You're not going to grow carrots or beans or anything else, whatever vegetables you like, in that heavy clay. And again, the councillors are familiar with this. Not only is there heavy clay, so incompatible soil conditions for your intended use, but there's water. And I know that the owner says that he hasn't had water, and you're right, in his yard, I haven't seen a lot of water. But the back property, and Cyril and Lena built that house, they were the ones ahead of you there. And yeah, they were my neighbors, I've been there since '86. Cyril and Lena couldn't farm that land, they had some chickens because of the water behind the house. So the rear part of that property, not where your house is, the rear part of that property, huge drainage issues. If you go to the property immediately to the north, and again, anybody who wants to drive by, it's immediately obvious when you drive by the farmer who also farms my land, who is the owner of the dairy facility, which will be about a half mile just due east of your property. That farmer's put in heavy drainage in order to try to get some of the water out so he could use his land. Again, good luck if you, and well, I hope this is denied, and so you won't ever find out what a poor site you chose for the purposes of agriculture. And again, great concept. Please find the right place to do this, because this is going to be great. Turning now to the why is it incompatible? Well, let's go to that road condition. And notwithstanding, I can tell you that road's in better shape right now, and has been in the last 4 years. So commendation to this council for actually caring about and paying attention to that road. Notwithstanding your strenuous efforts, it's still a crappy road. I think one of Councillor Campbell mentioned about the clay. It's a poor base. In the spring, you still get frost boils on that road, if you know what frost boils are. Mud, it's the frost pushing up, and because of the clay and plumes of clay, that road becomes effectively impassable in parts. Notwithstanding the strenuous efforts, and guess what? The farmers aren't driving up and down the road with their combines in early spring as the frost is coming out, so that's why they can do that. The road's going to be otherwise impassable. Railway ties still come up occasionally. I haven't seen one for a year or so, but the frost will bring it up out of the clay. The railway ties from the former railway that serviced the water pipeline on Pipeline Road. That's why it's called pipeline, water pipeline 100 years ago, before 1919. In any event, road absolutely impassable at many times of the year. You've also mentioned those snow conditions. Again, I don't want to criticize the RM because it's better now than it's ever been, but I'll tell you, that road, you do not want to drive down that in the winter unless you're completely familiar with that type of traffic condition. If this facility is established, the 70 to 100 people that initially start going there won't need 235 or whatever the number is exactly parking stalls. The reality is this facility is intended to grow and serve a much larger community. Fantastic objective, again, in the right location. So the suggestion that you're going to add 30 or 40 cars, okay, take what, 200 divide by 7, so it's only 30 a day. I don't get that. And the suggestion is, oh, we're going to have in rotation a few people come out and pull weeds. And believe me, there's going to be weeds if you do try to plant your vegetables there. That there's nobody going there any time other than Sunday. Again, I'm not a particular student of the religion, but have been to the temple on Mullard Road after funerals and other times with guests, and I've participated in the food hall there, where amazingly generous, by the way, free food. You go in there, it's all donated. The community members donate it. I'm told by a former chair of that temple that they never have to go far to get the money. So it's amazingly generous community. And what they do is they provide free food, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So those of you who drive up and down Pipeline Road and see the volume of traffic going into Mullard Road all hours of the day, why is that? There's free food. Wonderfully generous, supportive of the community. And there's a large food hall that I saw in that diagram, and I heard in the presentation about the free food that's going to be provided there. Well, that's not just on Sunday from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. If this is typical, and again, I am not a student of the religion, but of the generosity where food is provided around the week. So wonderful thing to do. Do it in the right place where it's accessible. So we're going to have, why is it incompatible? It's incompatible because of the traffic and road conditions. It's going to be incompatible because of the noise. It's going to be incompatible because of the lights and the lights. Those of us who choose to live in a rural agriculture area have done so by choice. I moved there in 1986. I have my horses there. I don't need hundreds of cars passing in front of that road on a crappy road that's gonna get chewed up. If they pave it, great, you got a paved road now. That'll be nice, but there's still hundreds of cars going. It's incompatible. You find the right location, you put the facility in a location where they don't have to build a new road to get to it. Again, the suggestion will, religious places of worship are not incompatible with farming. You know what? I come from not far away in the RM of Woodlands. There's nice little wooden churches where, you know, everybody had a quarter section or 80 acres once they broke the land, and this church, you know, seats 20 people, and, you know, my cousin's got to volunteer to be the organist. Well, fine, you have these small churches historically that service the neighboring farming community, and I'm sure it's in those days that they put religious facility in as a conditional use in the agricultural zone. They didn't when they put it in and left it in accidentally in the last review. They didn't intend to allow, effectively a huge operation to situate in the middle of an otherwise remote rural farming area with A80 zoning. Completely incompatible. And again, they said, oh, it's farming. We're going to do farming, so we're going to fit right in. Okay, the farming that's out there is canola. The farming that's out there is some hay, not a lot of hay. We should have more hay. It's wheat. It's the large operations. You got a dairy, one of the biggest modern dairy farms.
Excuse me, do you have any more questions for the developer?
These aren't questions. These are my positions and my supposition. If I had questions, that's your job to ask the questions. I get to give my presentation on why this is incompatible.
He doesn't have to frame questions.
And yeah, I don't have to frame questions. And again, I'm submitting to you, council, why I hope that you will turn down this application. And the largest portion of the presentation was how wonderful the organization is, and I agree with that. But even for a wonderful organization, you don't allow it to be in a wrong place where it is in fact compatible with the neighborhood, notwithstanding a portion of its farming. The suggestion is, oh, because it's listed in a conditional use, oh, you have to do it. It's a conditional use. You got to be reasonable. It's in the conditional use. Gosh, there was pressure on you to approve this because it's still listed as a conditional use. With respect, listen to your planner. Your planner has said, we left it in. If it's still in there, oh my God, it shouldn't be in. And when they thought of religious conditional use, they probably weren't thinking of something like this out in the middle of nowhere. So again, just because of the suggestion that, oh, if it's in there, you have to reasonably consider it and then turn it down because it's in the wrong place. There's a scare tactic here, freedom of assembly, and people must be free to assemble, and gosh, they're right, but you do it in the right place. And West St. Paul isn't saying that Sikhs aren't welcome in this community. West St. Paul is saying, come on down, come and establish in our community, but pick the right location. I ask you, council, to exercise your discretion. You know yourselves that this just doesn't make sense to put this there. Don't be pressured because, oh, it's religious freedom. Oh, and it also has some farming. So it's some farming, religious freedom. Doesn't look right, doesn't smell right, but put it in there. I strongly encourage you to turn this down. Sorry, one last point, and I know that you want me to be quiet. The consultant said, oh, we can solve that problem. Anything you asked. Why? Oh, we'll solve that problem. We got engineers. You know, Christian will get another engineer to come and we'll fix that problem. We'll fix that problem for you. We'll fix that problem. We'll snowplow. Well, just a second. When you get a long enough list of reasons it shouldn't be there, don't listen to a consultant saying, oh, we can fix anything. We can make anything work. Turn it down.
Thank you
Oh, I
very
have a
much.
question for Mr. King.
Sorry, I get questions.
Mr. King, I'm looking at the property, and you did mention Rolay Farms. Isn't Rolay Farms immediately adjacent to this property on the north side?
They own, they front on Blackdale, so they would, if you like, they're
Well,
not very
the
far away.
actual farm is on Blackdale, but he does have a piece of
Well,
property
no, their land
here,
is immediate. They have the 88
Which I
sorry.
know, as a counselor, I had asked, did extra drainage issues on that
Yeah,
property.
oh, huge.
For Mr. Rolay.
Yeah, no, that's 80 acres immediately.
Because the ditches are like this deep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I have 80 acres. immediately north of me, 60 acres.
Yeah.
Recently changed hands about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Then this is the 20 acre, you know, the bacon
It's like a
strip.
little splice
the big
in the
long,
middle.
yeah,
Yeah.
the north quarter of 80 acres. And then immediately next to that, 80 acres farmed by Rolly. And again, with
Yeah.
huge drainage
That's
concerns where for a couple of years they
Yep.
couldn't farm it, put drainage in. So don't worry, I know the area. Any other questions, councilors? Thank you for your time, and if I went long, I apologize.
Thank you for your insight. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, we did have one other in opposition, Norma Elberg. She submitted an email earlier today, generally saying she agreed with the comments from the Department of Agriculture. This is and should remain as farmlands. The applicant is fortunate to live close to an existing temple on Mullard, and she commends their kindness in offering 20% of crops to Manitoba Food Banks. No one else registered in opposition. For information, we have Jerry Blanky.
Do you have anything?
Oh, sure. I agree with basically what everything said here, but the application was for the,
Name and address.
oh, Jerry Blanky, 354 Garden View Drive, for the building, but the presentation was all for the farming. Everything was how we're gonna grow the vegetables, where we grow the vegetables, what we do, vegetables, everything. Fine. But it's the building that's being decided on. And we don't know, I think I heard somebody say that there was an issue with the fire department, and another, I heard there might be a cistern, so we don't know the sizes of these things. We don't know about the building. Everything is about the farming, you know, farming in BC, in Calgary, and Edmonton, everywhere. This is West St. Paul. You know, it's welcoming, and I just don't understand why they always say there's no impact. Everything's no impact. It's going to be an impact if you have, you know, sections of land or 80 acres and you have one household in there, and then you have one place that's going to have, I don't know, 70 to 100 people, and then we have 236 cars, which doesn't, I don't understand it. I mean, is it for future, so then there's going to be more people. So I think I'm not in favor of this. After hearing everything, it's just, it shouldn't be there.
So are you changing your position to?
Yeah, I'm going to against.
Okay,
I
thank
mean,
you.
I did a study on a cistern and fire protection for my property, and a small pump with a 2.5-inch hose, I think did something like 3,500 to 7,000 gallons an hour. Like I could
Okay.
pump a 500-gallon tank, I think, in 2 minutes. Because that's what's the use of buying it? Just like your head don't have enough water on storage. Eh? So we need to know how big the cistern is going to be, and if it's going to be fed by a well, and you're going to be irrigating. So is this pump's going to be running 24/7 to keep it filled? I don't know if we have a dry fall. But I mean, these are things that have to be explained. But like I say, not too much about the building. We don't know what kind of interiors, what's going to be in the interiors. The one I've seen had a lot of rugs. Okay, so I don't know.
Okay.
Like we need.
Anything new? Anything else new that you want to add to the previous?
No, I agree. I especially agree with the last two people there that were talking about it. There's lots of land that should be on a major thoroughfare where you have good access. I mean, we have capitalists, and we know what happens there as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger with more people. But anyhow.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
For information is Jackie Mann.
Did you want to speak, Mr. Mann?
Same thing. I just had a couple of questions if I can do with applicants. Can I ask a couple of questions to applicants?
Oh, yeah. One up.
Name and address, please.
1701 Addis, West St. Paul, Manitoba. I came here for information while I'm listening to them, and I really like their plan but just ask them, it's personal Gurdwara or community?
Okay, keep going. No, they can
I ju-
answer, they'll answer when they do the presentation.
Okay.
Okay?
If
Can you
it's
tell us
a,
the difference?
if it's a community, I just wondering if they reached out to community. We already have another Gurdwara on Mola Road, and it's basically on a same, right now that's a better road now. And where they are planning, that's a way worse. We have 2 people died on that road, Mola Road, on a King Edward. So I like their plan with their farming, but I think they never done farming here. If they're thinking about farming, farming is really hard and tough here. I came in a West St. Paul for a farming as well. But farming, I try like so many ways, spend lots of money. When we do vegetable, that's only come for 1 month. And we cannot store for 11 months. Our Mola Road, why they choose on a Mola Road? Same concept, way back, I'm talking about 30, 35 years ago when they choose that. So same concept, they thought we're going to do farming. And they wasn't did any farming, they tried it. When they build a building, either they will take care of that or are they doing it farming. So farming is, they did it after that, they tried it with a rented out too, wasn't came anything. So after that, they're tired of cutting grass, so say they sold it. So our another Gurdwara, they gone through with that. So I will suggest them, if they want to do farming, just try with a farming first instead of wasting their money to that big land. And they will get so much cheaper land out there for farming, far away instead of here. And if they want to build Gurudwara, should be on a nice paved road where people can go for a worship. Instead of that, I've been living in West St. Paul 17 years, and I drive down that road. It's a worse road, especially in a springtime. It's flooded, muddy, and that's, I don't know how much municipality going to spend to take care of that. And if they're trying to do something on that road, their budget, I don't think so, they can do that.
Can I just ask?
So, any question?
Yeah, just what you meant, what you said at the beginning, if it's a personal or community.
That's correct.
Okay, just explain yourself here a little bit.
Personal means like they want to do it their own. Community means all community. If community, did they reach out to community? Do we need? That's right. That's what my question is. Because we didn't even know, I was living in West St. Paul 17 years. Mr. Gurmeet, he's 23 years. And I reached my another people as well and asked them who's applied it. I wasn't know. So should be community. If they reach us, we tell them no, trying to build there. That's it. These are the problem we already have with Moller Road. So we can give some suggestion. They will get some more suggestion from older people as well.
Good, thank you.
And this project should be more nicer. You know?
Thank you.
For information, is Gurmeet Bathel?
Good evening. I'm living at 1773 Andrews Avenue.
Your name, please?
Gurmeet Bathel.
Okay.
And what I will say about it, other church that we have, Gurdwara, is not that far from there. And definitely I think it's going to add to extra traffic in that area. And although it's said that it will be on Sunday only, it won't be on Sunday. It will be almost every day, I will say. And as far as that land is concerned over there, that land, I don't think vegetable will grow over there, because I know at the back of our house, our lot is 2-acre lot, small area that we have been trying to grow vegetables. It's not easy. It's all weed. I gave up helping my wife, and it was her idea. And then I said, you take care of it. I'm not going to do anything about it. I can put some flowers at the front, even I cannot handle even that. And vegetables, I'll laugh over it regarding vegetables. To me, it looks more like an excuse for doing farming or agriculture over there. Suppose you allow it, go there after 5, 10 years, 20 years, and there will be no farming over there. And I can understand the way the gentleman gave the idea that there is farming going on with other religious places and churches. Maybe very few places, but other than that, our community is very well into donations and all that. All the 6 churches, they run through donations, not through farming. As far as farming, the way I imagine, the way I am living, what kind of vegetables grow? We don't grow any vegetables, just weed, nothing else. And I don't agree with that thing that is going to be farming or something like that. To me, I think this thing is being used like an excuse. Just let me stand, I will sit myself. And other than this, I think in the very beginning, it's being made like look beautiful idea or something like that, but then there will be kind of obligation on the municipality. Oh, we need this thing now, we need that thing. So I do think that like a church, a Gurdwara, it's not that far from there. From my place, it's not that far. Even I don't go over there. What I'm saying, to worship, your temple is in your heart. I do it my own house. I even do not go over there. And people who like doing that kind of thing and all that, sure, they can do it. And it's not that other Gurdwara is at a very good location and good, nice paved road and everything this and that. They can go over there, and it's not that far from here. I didn't know myself, and Jackie told me that Gurdwara itself had some land and they sold it. So now you can well imagine what will happen with the land that is extra land over there. I don't think they're going to grow any vegetable or something. So I'm sorry to say all this. I'm not against anybody or anything. These are my personal views. That's how I believe.
Okay.
I myself is a Sikh by religion, but I believe in internationalism, believe in humanity. That's the real religion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Last one registered is Ron Lewick for information.
Yeah, I would like to switch it to opposition.
Opposition? Okay.
That's
That's
all.
it? Okay, can we have the applicants come forward again? Names and addresses, please.
Sorry?
Your names and addresses, please.
Oh, I thought that we gave him at the start,
They gave
but
him already.
yeah.
They're just doing rebuttal now.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to rebut. Definitely a lot of information was heard tonight, both from ourselves as well as from those in attendance. It was very nice to hear the support from area residents that know that this land is high and dry, that the road is very well maintained, that it's used by semi-trucks and a lot of traffic, and providing that information. So I didn't know that that information would be provided tonight, and I'm very grateful that that came forward as facts for this council to consider. On the other hand, I did hear quite a lot of the community make a variety of comments, and what I suspect is that possibly there may be a bit of a disconnect in the community of understanding the intents of this application for this Gurdwara and what it requires for its religious practice, that the building and the use of the land do go hand in hand, and they want the opportunity to try to do that here because this land is available to them. They've put an offer in on the land. They have a good intention to move forward, despite whatever anybody else's fears may be or their thoughts that maybe maybe one church is too close to the other. This is a growing community in Manitoba, and there is a need for this. Otherwise, this application would not be being made. So I wanted to put that forward. There were definitely some comments that, as a land use planner, I typically don't try to swing at pitches in the dirt, but I know that I wrote down several things that people had said. There were things such as your people. There were things like nice little wooden churches being across. They were small churches historically, and that same person said that it doesn't look right, it doesn't smell right. These kinds of comments, I really, in the past 5 or so years, have become a lot more sensitized to. And I think that as a community, we can hopefully agree that those kinds of comments, they speak to something a little bit darker that unfortunately I wish wasn't part of our Canadian culture, but it is. That there's a perception that nice little wooden churches do belong in agricultural areas, but doesn't look right, doesn't smell right, gurdwaras don't belong out here. And I certainly hope this council does not hold that same opinion. There's also this position that was put forward that, you know, somehow this is not the right area. Go find the right land, and it should be in a settlement center. You know, like land use specialists from agriculture said, oh yeah, settlement centers are the right area. Again, a disconnect between understanding the actual practice of the religion for this group that want to build on this land, right? And further, I would really question, and it's a fact, I would question, do we as a society wish to take religious use types completely out of our agricultural areas and prohibit them? Yes, we do want to protect agricultural land for agricultural use, but all of rural Canada effectively, or at least Manitoba, or maybe it's just West St. Paul, that no longer wants to have religious assembly in any of its agricultural areas. So while I get accused of doing a scare tactic, I think that as a registered professional planner, I'm giving you sound advice that you have to consider the charter and your fundamental freedoms, allow it to remain as a conditional use. If this land has something about it that clearly requires the denial of it by council for reasons that council has, absolutely, you have that right underneath the Planning Act to choose that as one of your options. The thing is that I would really like to know, if you're going to defeat it, if there is a reasonable alternative, the reasons for why you're defeating it, because we need to understand that. And if there is a solution for approval, of course, we are more than happy to hear that. We are very happy to work with the municipality and make sure that the road is understood for its standard, making sure we do upgrades that meet your needs and meet the community's needs too. As well as if there is concerns about, you know, the potable water or the on-site wastewater management, we can provide those licenses to the municipality. So you can be assured that this development is taking the correct steps to make sure that people who come here are being held into an establishment that is built to provincial standards and municipal standards. So those are the points that I really want to bring forward to give some balance to all that's been said tonight, because we have heard from some people who will say it's flooded, it's not appropriate, go somewhere else. And we've heard from people who say this land has never been flooded, the roads are good, you can pass it. I think that those are the main points that I had. I would like us to all behave with respect, and I certainly want to convey that I'm hoping this council can give some clear direction tonight. Did you have anything to add?
Can I just comment on Ms. Lim before we get? You brought up some comments at the beginning about some of the comments that were said by not this council, the ones you brought up, but other residents. This might sound harsh, but I think that you brought this up worse. I think you're pushing it harder than any of the residents did. As Mr. King brought up, the small churches, meaning there were big acreages. They were having small churches, just meaning that religion was part of the community back then as it is now. I don't think there's anybody that said we don't want anything like this in West St. Paul. But you're bringing it up as a, I don't want to say racial, just a religious that we're against. I didn't hear that, but some people are more sensitive to it than others, so I respect that. But it's just that it's coming across that those are your main characters. We brought up a lot of other reasons with this property that aren't being brought up. At the end they were, but there were, most of the rebuttal and a lot of the first part was about the religion. And there's nobody here, I don't think, I didn't really hear anything about it, that is against it for that reason. So
I didn't hear about Somal too.
And that's, I
Okay.
just have to
Because
say.
I'm set to
Okay,
vote.
okay,
we
we can't, okay, nobody can speak but the
Yeah.
applicants to the rebuttal,
I'm
so we
sorry,
have to
I just
leave
had
it there, sorry.
Say that before, so.
Go ahead, Alex, your turn.
I just heard one gentleman say, is this a personal or temple or a temple for community? It is a temple for the whole community, not West St. Paul, but people living on the outer skirts of Winnipeg as well, just to be clear to one and all.
But did you consult your community?
Yes, we did.
So who did you?
And these people were not involved in that, so I cannot go and knock on every single person's door, but we did consult with a
Okay.
large proportion
Okay.
of the community.
Good.
Secondly, I heard from one gentleman saying that he is not able to farm on a 2-acre land behind his home. He's not able to grow vegetables. In my presentation over there, not only vegetables were mentioned, there were wheat was mentioned, pulses were mentioned. There are different crops for different soil textures, and we are not going to grow just vegetables like cauliflower or carrots or peas over there. We have people who have been expert in farming back home, who have been expert in farming all over North America. Not particularly West St. Paul is just a small municipality. Our community have had farmlands almost all over the world. And we have farmed in certain difficult areas, particularly in Canada in the early 1900s, and it is testament to the fact that Sikh community was one of the first community in BC and other provinces as well, who came over here and irrigated the barren lands over here. Okay, so we know what we are doing, and if somebody is trying to do gardening for hobby at the backyard of their house, we are not going to do that. We are going to bring in experts. Our community has experts, and it is in our blood. We are going to bring in big harvesters, all the modern farm equipments. In these modern times, people are growing all kinds of stuff in deserts. It is West St. Paul. We have enough water over here, as the concerns are there with the land drainage. As I told earlier, that this is just a starting point. We will be acquiring more land, and this problem of land drainage and flooding and all that, those can be mitigated. And if we are flexible enough to pose our position stating that, you know what, we are flexible enough and we can bring engineers or experts who does not work on prediction, who has a proven skill in terms, and we are going to spend money on that effort as well. So that is a solution to a problem, not just by coming in over here and saying, hey, they cannot do it. I've been living here for so long. You have been living here for so long, maybe you're not working that hard, and plus...
okay, you know what?
Okay,
you can't say things like
okay,
that, all right?
But only 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people in a household is trying on those lands. Here, we, as a community, we are going to bring in more people. More people can certainly mitigate any problem that might be of concern, like this crop cannot grow over here. We're fine with it. We'll grow that variety of crop like wheat or something else which is native to that soil condition. So that is one answer I need to give, and again, this is not a personal Gurudwara, it's for the whole community. And again, the 80% of the land still is going to be used for farming purposes. Yes, you have Gurudwara on Mollard Road. Yes, you have many other Gurudwaras. Have you even gone over there on a Sunday? They're almost packed. We need bigger facility, and that's why a 14,000 square feet of building is being proposed. And this is going to be a model site. In Mollard, you go over there, their parking is not even paved. We are going to pave our parking. We are going to bring in funds. You just give us some chance, and it is going to be a efficient facility. And plus, I would like to just welcome you guys to take a tour with us to a Sikh temple in Wilkes South. Okay, let's go over there on a weekday. Vis-a-vis, let's go over there on a Sunday. It is on Wilkes Avenue. Okay, it is
Mayor,
not. It is not.
We need to stick to a rebuttal here. On a rebuttal, we don't have any new information. It's just to speak to a rebuttal.
I am just rebutting with that.
But you're
I am just
adding
coming
more
to that
things.
point, ma'am. You let me just finish.
You're
You're
now
not letting me
welcoming us
speak.
to a tour, which you should have done at the beginning.
I told you guys.
Okay,
I
so now
did
you're
mention
repeating,
it.
so-
I did mention it. It is not a new piece of information. So we can prove how much of a traffic or gathering is there on a weekday versus a Sunday. Okay, it can be proven by just seeing number of cars in the parking lot. So these are my final comments. Rest the decision lies in your court, and we will be willing to accept whatever your wishes are. Thank you so much.
Anyone else, questions with him? Nothing? Thank you very much. So we will come out of the public hearing.
You have to close it.
Close it, yes.
Yeah.
Be it resolved that the council do hereby close the public hearing and resume the regular meeting of council. Could I have a mover?
So moved.
Moved. Council Bichetti seconds it. Any comments, questions? All in favor? Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Resolution 5253. Do you want to table it?
Nope, I'd like to make a decision.
Do you want to make a decision?
Yep,
Okay. Don't need any more
no
information?
point tabling it.
Okay. Be it that whereas the applicant has applied for conditional use 3823 to permit a religious assembly at 3767 Pipeline Road in the A80 agriculture zone, and whereas under provision of the Planning Act, a public hearing has been held to hear representation for or against the conditional use application. Now therefore be it resolved that the rural municipality of West St. Paul approves conditional use 3823 under the following conditions. That conditional use approval be limited to what is proposed within this application. Any changes in use or expansion will require a new conditional use approval. Applicant owner obtain all required permits and approvals, including but not limited to those from the Red River Planning District, Highways, Manitoba Conservations, and the RM of West St. Paul if applicable. Customer and owner obtain a letter of clearance from their RM of West St. Paul to ensure the property is in compliance with applicable RM bylaws, including zoning bylaw. Applicant owner enter into the development agreement with RM of West St. Paul to address A, site development, B, building size, C, locations, D, hours of operation, E, access, F, servicing, G, building and landscape standards, H, buffering, I, garbage and recycling services, J, inclusion of firefighting, water supply and drainage, K, other items deemed necessary by council. A drainage plan can be provided to the satisfaction of the municipality and municipal engineers, and conditions be made by the applicant owner to pave the asphalt upgrade to the gravel portion of Pipeline Road between the applicant's approach to Grassmere Road. This approval of conditional use will expire and cease to have any effect if it is not acted upon within 12 months of the date of the decision. The board, council, and planning commission may extend the deadline under subsection 110-1 for an additional period for no longer than 12 months if an application received before the initial deadline, and for a second period of no more than 12 months if the applicant is received before the expiry of the first extension. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Bichetti moves, seconder, Councilor Pecca seconds it. Any comments, questions?
I have several comments.
Okay, go ahead, Councilor Clyburn.
Go ahead, you go ahead.
Okay, there's a couple of issues with this property. One, we're being told it's 72 to 100 members, but it's a growing community. So I'm gonna anticipate that 235 cars is gonna be the minimum, not the maximum. Once this community grows, and as you know, I go to a fairly large church, it's, there's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of traffic. And this road cannot sustain those traffic issues. One of the reasons it can't sustain it, one, it's a gravel road, but also the interchange between Perimeter and Pipeline. And we as council has identified that, as has Manitoba Infrastructure. And there's going to be major changes there. We have put the industrial park there. We're concerned about that traffic going on there. We have Dajmesh School going onto that street as well. So there's a lot of concerns traffic-wise and safety-wise at that corner. Those haven't been remedied yet. There's drainage issues on this property. I know what the owner said. I know, being the counselor for this area previously in the last term, that Mr. Rowley and I did a drainage plan for Rowley Farms, which is immediately adjacent to this. And the RM did put some money in there to try and remedy some of the draining. But there are ongoing drainage issue for Rowley Farms farming on that property currently. So there are drainage issues there. Now, one of the comments that was made was by Ms. Lim, saying that, well, you know, this is a conditionally permitted use. Conditional uses, if it was permitted, they wouldn't be here because they wouldn't need our permission. So it's a conditional use on this property. And she made the comment, well, it was left in the zoning. Well, guess who did the zoning in 2022? Jennifer Lim. So yes, Jennifer Lim left it in the zoning. It probably should come out, and there should be a designated bylaw for where we put religious, buildings. We have that with Gateway. I know there was comments made about being inclusive, and there's this sort of tension in the air. I will say West St. Paul is probably one of the most inclusive communities. We have Dajmesh School in our community. We have Gateway Church in our community and school. We have a Presbyterian church, an Anglican church. We have all kinds of churches in our community. It's not that we're not inclusive. We're very inclusive, as a matter of fact. But it comes down to, is this the right property? Here's another big issue: no water. You're now going to draw down for these people from the well. Now, that's going to draw down on the aquifer for everybody in that area. And if this is a growing community, it should be a serviced area, not an area that's going to draw down on a well. It's going to affect multiple properties. So I don't think a well is the answer here at all. It needs to be a service property. And that is reflected even in what the fire department said, that they can't even meet the minimum at this point for service, fire service. So that's a huge issue. There's more issues. I could go on. I'm going to let some of the other counselors, Ms. Lim says, well, you better have a good reason. Well, I think we've got several good reasons here, because we've got drainage issues, we've got well issues, we've got traffic issues, and I would have to agree, this particular concept needs to go somewhere else. And I'm not saying it shouldn't go in West St. Paul, but not right here. This is not the location that it should be. It's not serviced. There's a whole host of problems. And there needs to be, you need to look at different land, but not this land. And that's all I'll say about it for now.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't support the application. You know, Ward 3, which I represent, and this is the area of this particular application, is almost like it's a blank slate. There's a lot of development pressures that are occurring. We've seen a few come in lately that really aren't consistent with, you know, sort of the overall vision of keeping this area kind of rural. The intensity for me, unfortunately, is a little bit too intense for this, for pipeline at this particular location. The idea was intriguing to me to hear it, but I just think the intensity of use and the particular location, it just, for me, it doesn't feel right. I'll just keep it to those comments.
Councilor Shetty?
First of all, I want to say my decision on this has nothing to do with religion, ethnicity, anything. I just want to say that straight out because it's been said a few times through different presentations. I'm not going to go and repeat what Councilor Kleiber has said about the issues with the land. That's a lot of the same conditions I had. So for that reason, those are some of the reasons that I could not support this.
My fellow councillors have, made comments that I echo, so I'm not going to continue. So
Okay.
I think we just call for the question.
Yep, okay. Can I call for the vote? All in favor? Seeing none, all opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, defeated. Okay, 6.1, Rogers Communication for Information. You got any questions on it? Any comments?
Well, Mayor, if I may,
Yeah, by all
we moved that tower, and I know there was some, we were talking about this earlier, there was some objection from St. Andrews Airport,
Yeah.
but Transport Canada has spoken in favor of it, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it will go ahead as we had instructed,
Okay.
so I'm okay with it
Okay.
now.
Okay, confirmation of minutes, the special meeting from November 7th.
Thank you.
The resolution, be it resolved that the minutes of special meeting of council held on November 2nd, 2023 be approved. Can I have a mover, please?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Paxton moves, can I have a seconder, please? Councilor Shetty seconds it.
Mayor, I'm going to abstain from the vote, I was not present at the meeting.
Okay, anyone else, any comments? No, nothing? Okay, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. 7.2, meeting of November 23rd. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on November 23rd, 2023 be approved. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Council Pat moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll
Council-
second.
Councilor Kleiber seconds it. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Delegations, nothing, bylaws. Okay, first reading, 9.1. Hiawatha. Be it resolved that the bylaw 2023-11, being a bylaw of the rural municipality of West St. Paul to authorize the expenditure and borrowing of money for the installation of wastewater pipes, lift stations, force mains, includes surface restoration and a local improvement in the area known as Hiawatha Avenue, Minnehaha, Kennebec, Nye Avenue, Baldock, and Evelyn, be read as for first time. Could I have a mover forward, please? Do I have a mover?
I'll move it just to get it on the floor.
Okay, Councilor Bichetti.
I'll second it for
Second.
discussion.
Oh, second it, okay. Any comments, questions?
I have a comment.
Yes, go ahead, Councilor.
Just put a couple notes here. I'd just like to make a comment about what we heard at the public hearing and through conversations I've had with residents in the LID. First of all, they asked us if we could split the LID to make it so that each area would get sufficient objectors and opposed and in favor of the project. I've heard that from both sides, the people that were in favor and against. They asked us if we could fund the lift station in some shape or form to lower the cost. The biggest thing was the funding and the dollar amounts, and asking us to leave it to the discretion of each individual area. So therefore, the way the resolution is written here, I will be voting against this bylaw.
Anyone else? Councilor Campbell?
Yeah, you know, the public hearing was good. We had lots of, you know, participation from residents, I think. And I just wanted to say a couple things. You know, you know, we know how the votes have come in. And I personally am in favor of splitting up the LIDs so that the areas that are in support of it can go ahead, and the areas that aren't in support of it can, if they want to vote against it in a new public hearing, they can. One thing that I would also be in favor of is the RM helping out or paying for the lift station. Another thing that, you know, I think I would want the RM to look into, and we did discuss, the one thing that I would like the RM to look into is that the RM can be its own borrower at a lower interest rate. So I would like us, because it is going to go forward, I'm sure, at some point in time. So I would like the RM to look at that, as we can act as our own financial institution and at a lower interest rate, which is beneficial for the residents. As of right now, I won't be supporting the motion.
Any other comments? Councilor Kleiber?
Well, I reviewed the public hearing, and it's clear to me that our residents are not in favor of this particular bylaw. So I concur that, you know, we should probably split this up by area and look at it that way. So I'm not going to support this bylaw reading either.
Councilor Blackton?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, I think that our consultants and our staff have done a pretty good job of bringing clarity to the issue. I think there is some good value with this particular motion, in the fact that in the long run, I think you know, people definitely want to connect to the line. There's some definitely good arguments for that. And in line with that, I do, but at the same time, after reviewing the video of the last meeting, it is clear to me as well that there isn't too much of an appetite, unfortunately, for this combined. And it probably makes a lot more sense to have it broken out and to provide these areas with the direct say in terms of how they want to proceed with local improvement. But I want to acknowledge the good work that took place by the staff and our consultants in terms of providing information so that people can make an informed decision. But so I won't be supporting this particular resolution.
Okay. I hear your comments, everyone. I take a look at this application, and I know that we have the means to move it forward. I also think that this is a good time to put in this development. My main concern is that if we delay it, we don't know what the cost is going to do, and are we going to get it any cheaper? And that is one of the concerns that are in the residents, is that they want this at a lower cost, which we've tried everything that we have to get it at a lower cost, but I think by delaying this any further, we're going to increase the risk of it costing more. So it is the reason why I will support this development, this LID. I support, it's also for the future of the municipality that I see that this is needed. And delaying it does not guarantee that it's going to come back. That's all. That's my main concern. I have no map. I can't see anything that's coming back. We don't know what circumstances are going to happen to prevent us from coming back. I've heard, you know, there's another project here in Manitoba where they wanted to spend $100 million, And I think they did this proposal like 2 years ago, and now it's $200 million. And I don't see it, if that happens, I don't know if that will happen, but that's my main concern, so. I will call for the vote, all in favor? I'm in favor. Any opposed? All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, defeated. Next is payroll. It be it resolved that the rule of...
Pardon, Mr. Mayor, if we could do accounts?
Oh,
Receive the
accounts.
accounts? Thank you.
Oh, counts for information, right. Thank you. Does anyone have a question for counts of information? Nope, hearing none, carry on. Number 11, payroll statement. Anyone have any concerns, questions about payroll? None, no questions? Okay.
I would just say, Mayor, you know, as you know, we both sit on the Red River Planning Board. And I don't know if it's possible maybe, but they have check detail every, you know, they show us the check detail. I don't know if council wants to go to something like that, or if we're happy with just lump sum amounts, but, I mean, lump sum amounts don't tell you much.
Okay, I can, I don't know what council's appetite is for it.
You mean just for the payroll?
Yeah. You know, at Red River Planning, they show us, they give us the detail. I don't know how many employees they have versus ours, so it might not be feasible, but they give us check detail on all payroll.
I personally think, you know, I don't, we all, you know, we know, or we can ask how much person X, Y, or Z makes. I don't think we need to add more work, or, you know, I don't think they're hiding any employees in that or anything.
No,
I just
no,
don't know what the reasoning would be.
Yeah, just we're doing lump sums, and you don't really see anything with a lump sum.
Some of it is private though, some private information.
Mhm.
Yes. So then it would have to be done in camera.
Yep. Just a point, you don't
Okay.
have to go with
No,
it, but
okay.
just a point.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, by all means.
We do need a mover, seconder, and vote on that item.
Okay, be it resolved that the payroll for the month of November as follows be approved as presented. Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Shetty.
I'll second.
Sorry, Councilor Pactican moves it. Councilor Campbell seconds it. Any other comments? None? Okay. Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West St. Paul approve the financial statements for the period ending October 31st, 2023. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Pactican moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
Second.
Councilor Campbell seconds it. Any comments, questions?
Were any of my questions answered by Crystal since Tuesday?
We'll get them to you. We're working on them.
They're pretty easy, they didn't add up.
I know.
So,
I know.
okay. Do we have an ETA on that?
I'll have them to you early next week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other comments? None? Okay. Wait, where am I?
Just on that, would it be
Yep.
possible maybe that, if you could provide that to Councillor Clabber, but can you also provide a public update at the next COW meeting with regards to those answers, if possible?
I'm sorry, the public update?
Just because the questions were raised in a public forum.
Oh, yes, I
So
see.
if you can provide that back.
Bring that
at
update to the meeting as well.
At the
Yeah.
COW meeting, that'd be great.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Will do.
Any other comments? Okay, can I call for the vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Is 10 is the CAA's report? No, wait, 13?
Yeah, 15.
13. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul accept the CAA's report as information. Can I have a mover on that, please? Councilor Bichetti moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll second it.
Councilor Pactican seconds it. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Nothing on communications. Correspondence for the month of November. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul accept the miscellaneous correspondence for the month of November as information. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councilor Clyburn moves. Can I have a seconder, please? Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Any other comments, questions? Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. 15, nothing. 15.1, miscellaneous meetings, resolution. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul authorize attendance to the following meetings. November 13th, Jack Wilkie Open House. Picture at mural site. Emergency table, top exercise, and council round table.
I'll move it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilor Chetty moves it. Can I have a seconder, please?
Dr. Cannon, Bichetti will second it.
Oh, Pat, oh, sorry, Pat. Sorry, guys.
That's good.
The emergency plan, be it resolved that the
Is there a vote?
council.
All in favor.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul approve the 2024 emergency plan as submitted. Can I have a mover, please?
I'll move it.
Pat Can moves. Can I have a seconder, please? Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. 15.3, schedule of the council meeting. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul approve the schedule for 2024 council meeting. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Second.
Councilor Bichetti moves. Councilor Campbell seconds. Can I have any comments? Seeing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Carried. Spending authority. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul, in accordance with Section 163 of the Municipal Act, adopt an interim operating budget to be effective only until such time as Council adopts an operating budget for 2024 fiscal year. Now therefore be it resolved that the following interim operating budget be hereby approved. Can I have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Councilor Bichetti moves. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Councilor Cliver seconds it. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Carried. Appointment of council committee. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of
Did we just do that?
No.
Nope.
Council
Okay.
meetings.
That was spending authority.
Okay, sorry, I lost track there.
Council committees.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul approve the appointments for committee as follows. Do I need to read everyone?
No, you don't.
As listed, does any?
Maybe just the amendments from.
Oh, yes, the amended one. There were some amendments made.
Just amendments from those ones.
Yep. For Coche Water Co-op, Dave Wardrop was added and Councilor Cliver was removed. Netley Creek, Willow Creek Watershed District was removed from our appointment list because we have no authority with it, right? Okay. And also we were added an alternate for the Red River Planning as Jojo Bichetti.
I think we have to clarify the Netley one as it's a resident appointment that you're doing, and that's why it's not on the sheet.
Okay. And the resident appointment is.
It's a resident appointment, the Netley Creek one,
Yes.
so that's why it's not part of our council sheet.
It always was in the past because there was a council member and a community.
I think that's why they removed it, though.
Yeah, we have nothing.
Correct.
Yes, okay.
Council has a member appointed to the Watershed
Yeah.
and a citizen rep appointed to the watershed. The Netley Subcommittee is as appointed by the watershed, not by the municipality, so we do not appoint.
Okay.
Sorry, could you repeat that? I did not hear it.
So, council has a member appointed to the watershed and and a citizen rep for the watershed. The Netley organization is a subcommittee
Yes.
of the watershed
Yes.
and is as appointed by the watershed,
No, it's not.
not by the municipality.
No, you need to check that out.
We have it already in, so I guess we'll double check that.
It was confirmed after the election, and that's why it's remained as that person.
Oh, is that right? Okay, okay. Okay, so any other comments?
Nope.
None? Okay, can I call for the vote?
We do need a mover and seconder,
I'll move
Mr.
it.
Mayor.
Oh, I didn't ask that, okay. Councilor Shetty moves. Peter Campbell seconds it. Any other comments? None? Okay, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Seeing none, carried. By all means. Yep. Yep. Okay, so now we're down on 16. Oh, 15-6, PK Studios Extension Video. Be it resolved that Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul authorized PK Studios to providing council meetings, video recording services for a 2-year period at a cost of $2,500 plus taxes for annual maintenance, $4,000 plus applicable taxes for annual operator service, and there was an addition, $25 per hour for hours that are in excess of the above. And be it further resolved that the rural municipality of West St. Paul may terminate this contract, or the rural municipality or BK Studios may terminate this contract at any time by giving notice of 90 days written. 90 days of written notice. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councilor moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
Second.
Councilor Clyber seconds it. Any comments, questions? None? Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Okay, request for quotation, snow clearing, December 2023 to spring 2025. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality accept the bid for snow clearing for December 2023 to spring 2024 submitted by S&J Construction in the amount per clearing event that is set out in the below schedule as pricing, as that is listed below. Can I have a mover for this, please?
So moved.
Councilor Clyber moves. Can I have a seconder, please? Councilor
Second.
Campbell seconds it. Does anyone have any questions or
Yeah,
comments?
Just for clarification, if
Yep.
I can.
Sure.
So this is on a call-out basis, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions,
No,
comments?
no,
Okay.
thank you.
Could I have move? No, I did that. Can I call for the vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Carried. 15-8, grant approval for Access Center. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul waive the Access Center facility rental for the proposed events as follows: West St. Paul Fire Department Poker Tournament and Red River Basin Commission Gala Dinner. Can I have a mover for it, please?
I'll move it.
Councilor Shetty moves it. Can I have a seconder, please?
Second.
Councilor Patcan seconds it. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Seeing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Be it resolved that the rural municipality of West St. Paul approve the 2024-2025 accessibility plan as presented. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move it, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor
Second.
Patcan moves it. Seconder? Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilor Clyber seconded. Any comments or questions?
Yeah.
Councilor Clyber?
Oh, Councilor Patcan, go ahead. You probably have the same comments as I do. Go ahead.
I just thought, I want to thank the administration for putting this together. I think it's a good start. I know, I was talking to our CAO with regards to putting together perhaps a committee that would have citizen member appointments, and happy to see that he's gonna be moving on it and proposing something back to council, so thank you very much for that. And, I know Councillor Clabber wants to say a few things, so.
Well, I was just wondering, and this goes to our CAO through the chair, if we approve this accessibility plan, can it be amended and improved upon, or is this it?
No, absolutely. I mean, there's absolutely no reason why you can't do more than outlined in the plan itself, or expand within the plan itself. Anything the council, any recommendation council cares to accept from either the administration, from a subcommittee, from the public, would be treated like any other issue, whether or not it's dealt through the operating or the capital program. There's no reason why we can't do more.
So if we updated, we struck this committee and we put some more things in, would we have to do another resolution to accept that update, or?
Well, what we might need is, we would probably need a resolution to strike a subcommittee, but we wouldn't necessarily need to revise the accessibility plan. We could do that on the next round of revision of the accessibility plan. Certainly.
But that's 2025.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we could bring the plan back and amend it with a clause.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, we could do that. It wouldn't be necessary, but we
Because I don't
could.
want to approve it, and then we strike a subcommittee, and we come up with some really good ideas that we want to put in there, and then we don't put them in for 2 years because we don't want to do another resolution or submit an amendment.
There's no reason you couldn't strike a subcommittee. There's no reason you couldn't take action on the recommendations of the subcommittee. And there's no reason why you couldn't amend your internal plan or your plan however you like. It's not necessary to amend the plan, but if it makes you more comfortable, there's no reason we couldn't do that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. 1510, fees and charges. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul accept the amendments of Schedule A of the fees and charges bylaw 2016-08 as presented. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Or can I call for a mover, please?
I'll move it, Mr.
Council Blacktown moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
Second.
Council Bracchetti seconds it. Any comments or questions?
Didn't we have a discussion that we wanted a more comprehensive listing? But we're going to do that later on, I guess, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's going to be, we're going to come forward in the new year with a revised fees and charges manual.
Okay.
This one just happens to be some time sensitive, so we're revising for only the 2 items.
Okay, good, thank you.
Any other comments? Hearing none, carried. Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, carried. Okay, so now we're gonna go, is that it? We're gonna go in camera?
You have to do this.
Okay. Be it resolved that in accordance with section 152 of the Municipal Act, Council does now move in camera to discuss matters that are in preliminary stages and respecting which discussions in public could prejudice a municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiations. And be it further resolved that in accordance with section 83(1) of the Municipal Act, any issues that are discussed are kept confidential and discussed at a regular meeting of council. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Pacquiao moves, Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Can I call for the vote?
Just a second, Mayor.
Okay.
Under the administration report of 18.11, I'll be recusing myself out of that CU for conflict of interest. And I will only be present during the Red River Planning District discussion.
Okay. Okay, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, none opposed, carried. We're out of resolution. So we've come out of camera, we've had a discussion on a development agreement and Red River planning. We need to have also a resolution to extend our meeting to pass a resolution. So could I have a resolution, please?
To say be it resolved that the Council of West St. Paul extend the meeting from 10 to 10:30.
Okay. Can I
I'll
have a
move it.
Councilor Campbell Clyburn moves it.
I'll second it.
Councilor Paxton seconds it. Any comments, questions?
Nope.
None? Hearing none, okay, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Okay, so here it is. Be it resolved that Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul approve the development agreement for conditional use. Be it 27/3. Further, be it resolved that the mayor and CEO, no, wait,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
no, that's, we were changing it.
Be resolved that mayor and CEO be authorized to sign the development agreement?
You can wait till after it's signed there and then.
Yes.
Yes, be authorized, okay, be it, well, you guys gotta come back here and see it first.
Well, not if there's no changes.
No, we'll get last look no matter what.
Yeah,
Okay, I recuse myself from this vote.
right, we don't, because you want us to sign the agreement. So they gotta do it first, so we don't need this resolution till afterwards. This resolution,
Yeah, the agreement's done.
well, your agreement's done?
Have they signed it?
No, they haven't signed it yet. We wanted to get your okay that you provide your authorization for the municipality to sign it.
Oh, so, yeah, okay, so now they need to sign it, and then it needs to come back to us.
Yes.
And then we do the resolution.
No, we do the resolution now. We don't sign before the resolution is passed by council. You need the resolution authorizing the signatures,
I know, they need to sign it first, though.
not before council approves the development agreement. That's what this is doing.
They can't sign it until you approve the agreement.
That's what we want.
So
They
you're
can't do
approving
any
the
changes.
agreement, you're authorizing yourself to sign it, but you're gonna wait for them first, and then you'll sign it. This is just like, when it's time, you will sign. That rhymed even.
As long as there's no changes.
Yeah, it's good. Covers what you want.
No, it doesn't,
No? How come?
because you've authorized me to sign it, and if it goes to them and they say, I want changes,
No, we're authorizing you to sign the development agreement as we talked about it.
As is.
At the time that we're ready to sign, after they've signed it.
If there was any changes required, that would come back to council and be discussed.
Then you can sign.
okay. Be resolved that Council of the Municipality of West St. Paul approves the development agreement for conditional use, CEU 27-23. Be it further resolved that the mayor and CEO be authorized to sign the development agreement. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councilor Bichetti moves, seconder, please.
Second it.
Councilor Campbell, Pactan seconds it. Any discussions? Hearing none. Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Okay. I
Delaney,
now,
you've documented that I recuse?
I have.
Thank you.
be it resolved that this meeting of council stand adjourned at 10:06 PM. Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Bichetti moves. Can I have a seconder, please? Councilor Pactan seconds it. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried.